is the Citi Breakfast Show. The city's biggest conversation. The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
My spirit to my soul, until my voice re-echoes. You are worthy of my worship, worthy of my praise.
Somebody release your worship. Yeah.
City 97.3. More variety.
Lift it up, everybody. You are. Can you look at Jesus and tell him? This is my story. Oh, you're. So from my spirit, from my spirit. From my spirit until my voice re-echoes. Say that again. This is my story. You are my son. All day, all night. Lift your hands from my spirit, from my spirit. Hey, from my spirit. Are you ready? Say halle, halle, halle.
Unleashing the power of radio. This is City 97.3.
Can somebody release the church of the spirit? Yeah.
.31 on a rainy morning, broadcasting from Adabaka in Accra. His name is Dunsin Oyekan with Lawrence Oyo. All right. It's a great start to your morning, using this song to inspire you to great accomplishments. From my spirit to my soul, until my voice re-echoes. You are worthy of my worship, you are worthy of my praise, and therefore I sing hallelujah. Simple song, profound insights, great inspiration, motivation is the tonic you need for your morning. As they say, motivation gets you started, but habits or discipline keeps you going. Both are important. We motivate you to start, but it's your habits that will help you continue. At the end of the day, it's not starting that matters, it's how you finish. But it's also great to start well, as the athletes. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. And each is equally important in your leadership journey. And even in your company, there are days for motivation and there are days for instilling discipline. And you need to know the difference between motivation and discipline. Business Sense brought to you by Access Bank. Grab the chance to win big in the Access Bank Fakitwa Beji Kesia promo. Deposit a minimum of 250 cedis into your new or existing Access current or savings account. Join the promo, increase it to 500 or more, qualify for the draw. And for young customers, spend 500 cedis or more with any of our Visa cards, qualify for reward as well. The more you deposit, the higher chance of winning. Don't sit back, deposit now and stand a chance of winning a share of over 500,000 cedis in cash and other amazing rewards like PS5s, iPhone 16, Chromebooks and more. Promo brought to you in conjunction with the Caritas Lottery platform. Call 0800 004400. Access Bank, more than banking. And I like this one. Habits turn actions into attitudes, and attitudes into lifestyles. Wow. Habits turn actions into attitudes, and attitudes into lifestyles. So there are many habits. The steady habit, the prayer habit, the praise habit. Turn it into an attitude and into a lifestyle. Yes. All based on the first quote we gave this morning. Motivation gets you started, but habits keep you going. I like it. Pa, 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 pa. Two areas that will hurt you if you don't improve: your attitude and your discipline. Two areas that if you are weak in, you will struggle to do well. If you are indisciplined, you can't succeed anywhere. And you have a bad attitude, you will stink. So, whereas some weaknesses you can live with, if your weak area is indiscipline, you are in real trouble. So, I want to just encourage you to work on discipline. And if your attitude is also poor, it's going to be difficult for you to make it. So there are two weak areas in your life that you need to work on aggressively, in the area of discipline and the area of attitude. Talk about this more later on. We're starting off with a newspaper review, and it's brought to you by Piva Beverages. Enjoy the classic cola, the delightful orange, the exotic cocktail, the juicy grapefruit, and the refreshing tangy. Available at a local store. Call 0550-032-231. Piva, a taste you will love. We're energized by Total Excellium. The new formula is additive and enriched. It's powerful. It's 3-in-1. It cleans your engine, extends its life, lowers your fuel consumption. It has anti-corrosion, anti-wear, and detergent additives. You drive and drive and drive. Choose Total, choose quality. And Fidelity Bank is also proud to be associated with the newspaper review. We help turn your dreams into reality. Every goal deserves a chance to flourish, and with hard work, dedication, and strong belief in yourself, the seed of greatness is within reach. We are here for your journey. Believe with us, Fidelity Bank.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The City Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
The City Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
If you have 250 Ghana cedis right now, it can do wonders for you. Chairman, Fabeji, it could turn your tears into joy in the Access Bank Fakitwabeji Kese promo. Madam, Fabeji, it could get you up to 50,000 Ghana cedis cash prize. Business owner, Fabeji. As a student, make transactions with your Access Bank card, and that could get you Spotify and Netflix subscriptions, PS5, iPhone 16 Pro Max, and more. This be out of class sense. Fabeji, you see what 250 Ghana cedis can do for you? And Gasakra. Fabeji, it's the Access Bank Fakitwabeji Kese promo. Deposit a minimum of 250 Ghana cedis and its multiples in your new or existing account, and be on your way to winning a share of the 580,000 Ghana cedis in cash prizes and other amazing rewards. The more you deposit, the more your chances of winning. Promo runs from now to September 2025. This promo is in partnership with NLA on the Caritas Not You platform. Terms and conditions apply. Access Bank, more than banking.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is City 97.3.
Yeah, the sun is not yet out in many places, but we're bringing you a sunny show this morning. My name is Bernard Avile. I'm here with Richard Sky. Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, my brother. How's it going?
It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, my
in
brother.
your Cuban, Chinese, communist style, up and down.
Yes.
You are ready for socialism.
Yes, exactly.
And solidarity.
Yeah, in solidarity. You know, my industry is under attack.
Your industry?
Yes.
Which is your industry?
Which is the judiciary.
Oh, my brother.
No, but I'm serious.
So why aren't you in suit? Why aren't you in...
No. You know, I don't need to wear. You know me.
You want to dress like a Chinese Kung Fu man.
Yes. So I am. You can see I'm in black this morning.
But this is not black.
Oh, this is black.
This is dark brown.
No, this is black.
Okay, maybe I have to change my eyes.
eyes.
Your professions now, they wear black already.
Oh, yes.
Whether the things are good or bad, they wear black.
No, but this is symbolic.
This is black is symbolic.
Yes. This is not to say that I have determined that the Chief Justice has done something wrong.
Right, all right.
But what I'm saying is that the President has acted, in my respectful view, unconstitutional.
Yeah, man.
By suspending the Chief Justice of the Republic without first publishing a CI, indicating how he intended to use Article 296 combined with 14610 of the Constitution to suspend the Chief Justice.
You should have issued a constitutional instrument to do what?
A decision to suspend, as provided for in the Constitution, in my respectful view, is one that is discretionary.
May.
Yeah, it says, the Constitution says may suspend.
So
in consultation with the council.
So when he decides to do it, he has to do it.
Now the question is, how did the President come to a determination that there was a prima facie case in consultation with the Chief Justice.
So
you and I, we don't know.
Yeah, so he should issue a CI.
So yes, he ought to have done that, because if you look, no, I mean
I'm listening to
the
you.
case is already decided. If you look at the case, for instance, Ransford France versus the Electoral Commission and the Attorney General.
Ransford
France versus the Attorney General.
When was
and
this?
the Electoral Commission.
Okay.
Justice Dateba made the position clear when he interpreted, or the court interpreted the provisions of Article 296 of the Constitution. And he made it clear that we cannot allow the floodgate syndrome, where, once discretionary power is given, every institution or person must issue, CI or statutory instrument. But that we were limiting it strictly to matters that are quasi-judicial in nature.
So he should have issued a constitutional instrument
Without regard to that judgment of the Supreme
to
Court.
explain
Yes.
why he decided to choose this line of action.
Yes, long before the suspension itself. He didn't do that, in my respectful view.
So you are not even thinking about the fact that there was a case in court, because somebody yesterday
Oh,
said,
he's also part of it. But
but you are using a different legal route.
Exactly, because it allows us to tell each other that, these are the grounds, these are the things that the president took into consideration.
Okay.
You understand? But as we do know now, nothing has happened
It's interesting.
to tell us which way
The
president
CDD
went.
boss this morning says make CJ removal findings public. This is Professor Kwesi Prempe. I don't know whether that's the same thing you're saying, but he's saying that there are issues with the process which he believes we should address.
Yeah, the Constitution has some problems,
Okay.
although I believe the framers must have intended a certain effect. But
He is not even talking about constitution. He's saying that the
No, I
current
read
situation.
I read his post. He's making some suggestions as to how we should deal with Article 146 of the Constitution.
Lawyers now, Bafi.
Because he
Lawyers
takes
will
the
grow.
view that there are problems with it. So he says there are two problems. There should not be any presidential involvement, and that the matter should be left entirely out of the hands of the president until he is invited to now give effect to what the investigative committee says.
So his headline this morning, and this is citynewsroom.com, make CJ removal findings public, CDD boss demands. Then I have a lot of headlines here. CJ suspension, a day of shame for Ghana, according to John Daku. Tia Eboa says Council of State advice on CJ suspension acidic and poisonous. Meanwhile, judicial system won't collapse over CJ suspension. Professor Pia J. Tua. When every lawyer is talking, then I have about 5 stories here. Meanwhile, Justice Bafo Boni to act as CJ following Tokonu's suspension. A few other headlines unrelated. Galamsey Forestry Commission vows to sanction staff aiding illegal miners. And then Mahama sacks Tamale Teaching Hospital CEO following allegations of negligence. That's another one from the northern region. Those are some of the stories on citynewsroom.com.
Okay, so let me take you to some of the newspapers we have this morning. I have the Chronicle. Ghana's future can't be built on partisan loyalty. They're quoting the minority leader in Parliament, Alexander Fenyo, marking the story about the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice being suspended by Mahama. The President also makes the front page. And let me rebuild PZ Market, Brian. A champion is appealing to the Otunfo.
The Daily Graphic this morning, Chief Justice suspended Justice Bafo Boni to act. Government moves to track down Galamsey financiers. Ghana a bright spot in global slowdown from the IMF. Meanwhile, Ghana will mediate to strengthen unity in ECOWAS, according to President Mahama, as he spoke yesterday at the 50th anniversary launch.
The Daily Gist says this morning, Mahama sacks Chief Justice. No, she's not been sacked. She's just been suspended. Now, in judicial coup, appoints Bafo Boni acting CJ. Baumia starts thank you tour. And if you go to the news center, the big story says, Mahama NDC seek revenge, a retaliation for the removal of Charlotte Osei and others. Also on the front page, Citi FM Channel 1 TV donate to rehabilitation centers as part of Easter Orphan Project.
The Herald, financial misconduct, controversial judgments and administrative decisions get Chief Justice Tokonu suspended pending probe. There's a photograph of Justice Bafo Boni, Justice Gertrude Tokonu, Justice Samuel Kwame Adibo Asiedu and Justice Gabriel Scott Poamang. Meanwhile, owners of judiciary, quote unquote, in tears as Mahama enters uncharted waters. Other stories, Edum Kumasi fire site turns battleground for MPP flag bearer aspirants. Very interesting angle to the story. Okay. FDA shifts blame in illegal drugs cover-up case, and Citi FM Channel 1 donate to rehab centers in the country.
Let me take you now to the Daily Guide. Mahama suspends Tokonu. Bafo-Boni acting Chief Justice apologize over failed Galamsey promise, the MPP is telling President Mahama. And then also 13 killed, others injured in gory accident.
All right, if you move to the publisher, Ghana's Day of Shame as Mahama suspends CJ, minority describe action as a judicial coup, depoliticize entrepreneurship, Apenyo Marking says, and government's mining decisions could spark job losses, repel investors, according to the minority.
And if you go to the Informer, government hard on Akonta mining, revokes license amid serious allegations. Also on the front page, Citi FM Channel 1 TV show Love. Donate to 2 rehabilitation
The
centers.
Inquisitor, MPP 2024 defeat Nana carries shame as Achim Mafia struggle to defend him. Also, Ghana beat IMF reserve target. Your day of recording has come. Sami Jemfi to one to me. And my prosecution was unjust. I was innocent, Dr. Opuni. I'll give you a couple more headlines. If you go to Channel 1 News, get it right or posterity won't forgive us. Jan Yeboah to CJ probe committee. In other headlines, Atachian says CJ suspension constitutes contempt of court. And then minority tells Mahama reinstate CJ immediately. In other stories, Mahama sacks CEO of Tamale Teaching Hospital. ECOWAS at 50 diplomatic institutions must be empowered to serve citizens. Mahama speaking. And we have Bafo-Boni takes over as acting CJ. If you go to myjoyonline.com, let this story, MPP's Frank Davis criticizes CJ suspension is an assault on our judiciary. Samukujato criticizes decision, says it stains Ghana's image abroad. All kinds of reactions coming through. Meanwhile, in other stories, CJ should resign rather than drag this matter in public, according to Martin Pebu. And then, of course, minorities condemnation. And then BOG to begin cryptocurrency regulation in Ghana by September this year.
Hey.
Why are you happy with this?
Oh, well, you know, I've been calling for regulated cryptocurrency, generally in Africa, for some time now.
Okay, if you go to GNA, Smith Graham returns as head of Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. And then,
the name.
yes,
he used to be there.
yeah, that's where he's the man for fair wages. So, you know, when the Labour Commission's chair, this guy, Fusa Sama, was asked to go, somebody said you should go to the Labour Commission to seek redress. Fusa Sama said go to Labour Commission. Now, if you go to a few stories globally, we're told that Trump floats cutting China tariffs substantially in trade deal. This is Bloomberg's lead story. And then ex-Credit Suisse CEO Thiam disqualified from Ivorian post. Let's keep an eye on Cote d'Ivoire. It's a very interesting story. Okay, so let's start with the Chief Justice issue. I think the graphic captures it nicely.
Okay.
In terms of the newspaper, so maybe I'll start from there. It says President John Dramani Mahama has suspended the Chief Justice Gertrude Saki Tokonu after determining that 3 petitions seeking her removal established a prima facie case to warrant a probe. Following a suspension of Justice Tokonu, the Justice Paul Bafo-Boni, the most senior justice of the Supreme Court, will act as Chief Justice. This is in pursuant to Article 1446 of the Constitution, which allows the most senior justice of the Supreme Court to act as Chief Justice in the event of the position being vacant or the substantive being unable to perform his or her functions as pertains in this case. The suspension of the CJ, the first in the country's governance system, followed the determination of a prima facie case by the President in consultation with the Council of State and subsequent establishment of a 5-member committee to inquire into the matter. Now, let's do reactions.
We do know that the minority issued a statement yesterday condemning the decision and
asking for her reinstatement.
Reinstate her and vowing to resist all attempts to subsume the judiciary under the will of the president.
So I'll read 3 reactions to you. The first one is a minority one that you highlighted. The Tisha reports the minority has strongly criticized the president's decision to suspend CJ. And the minority contended that the president's action is neither good governance nor credible attempt to reset the judicial system. They further allege that the suspension is part of a broad pattern of political persecution and misuse of state institutions to intimidate opponents. And then they then make other things. They are making a demand for a halt to all removal proceedings until the judiciary has conclusively ruled on the constitutionality of the process. And then they say the integrity of Ghana's judicial system is non-negotiable. Then the second reaction, make CJ removal findings public. CDD boss demands. Executive Director of CDD, Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, has raised concern about the current process for removing justices of the Superior Court, calling for greater transparency and institutional reform, particularly in light of the recent suspension of Gertrude Isaba Tokonu. In a strongly worded critique, Professor Prempeh took aim at Article 146 of the Constitution, which outlines the procedure for removal of the Superior Court justices, including the CJ. And then he argued that public confidence in the judiciary hinges on access to information and accountability. So the public must not be kept in dark as to why a removal petition failed or succeeded. Then the third one, Atachian says, is potentially unconstitutional because there was a pending case in the Supreme Court. So he used that angle, speaking on Eyewitness News yesterday. So those are some of the reactions to this. There's a last one where Professor Apiejetua says the suspension of the CJ will not bring the judicial system to a halt because there's somebody who's taking over. I'm not sure that justice delivery will be affected so much because the Constitution makes room for somebody to stand in for the CJ. So we will have the most senior Supreme Court judge standing in. Let's get to other stories this morning.
Okay. I just want to mention quickly that if you go to the BBC, they have quoted the former Attorney General of the Republic, Godfred Yeboah Dame, as saying that he thinks that this whole thing is a complete charade. So just to talk about, because he's already in court challenging the processes being used to.
He is representing
that's
somebody in court. He's representing an MP. All right. Now, there's a story from Tamale Teaching Hospital which I thought was interesting, where the Minister of Health was unhappy with malfunctioning equipment after an unannounced visit, right? This visit was conducted without prior notice on Monday, intended to evaluate healthcare services at Northern Region's main referral hospital, Tamale. However, the situation escalated when the minister discovered that essential equipment such as ventilators, MRI scanners, and sterilization tools were not in working condition. Disturbed by what he saw, the minister did not hold back his frustration. Life has been lost. That's why this must be exposed. What do you mean it shouldn't be blown out? He charged, addressing staff members. He questioned why patients had to be referred to private hospitals for services that should be readily available at major public facility. Your mindset might be the reason these issues persist. I want you to highlight these problems so they receive attention. Now, less than a day after this, the president has sacked the CEO of the hospital. So now Citi Newsroom is reporting that President Mahama has dismissed the CEO of Tamale Teaching Hospital, Dr. Adam Atiku, following reports of alleged negligence that led to the recent death of a patient at the hospital's accident and emergency ward. The decision comes amid growing concern about the deteriorating state of healthcare delivery at the facility, where several essential medical equipment were reportedly non-functional. So a lot of people believe this is linked to what happened when the minister visited there with the MP for the Tamale North, Alasan Suhini. What else do you have for us?
Well, another story, the other stories have to do with Galamsey.
All right.
For instance, if you go to page 6 of the Daily Guide, they are quoting the MPP as asking President Mahama to apologize for failing thus far to deal with Galamsey. Now, the national youth organizer of the New Patriotic Party, Salam Mustafa, has called on President John Dramani Mahama to render an unqualified apology to Ghanaians over his inability to deliver lofty promises, especially in tackling illegal mining, popularly called Galamsey. Now, according to Mr. Mustafa, since the National Democratic Congress government assumed the reins of power, early signs clearly show that they are not going to deal with the challenges facing the country. As we do know already, at Konta Mining, they have, issued some directives suspending their license. So they have
now,
to do that.
ECOWAS chair says unconstitutional changes in West Africa threaten democratic gains. This was at yesterday's ECOWAS at 50. President of Nigeria, who doubles as ECOWAS chair, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has emphasized that the unconstitutional change in government in West Africa sub-region remains a threat to democratic gains made over the decades. In a speech read on his behalf by the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, the ECOWAS chairman indicated that steps must be taken by the bloc to safeguard democratic credentials in order to enforce peace and security. President Mahama himself spoke at the event, where he also asked for better he said diplomatic institutions must be empowered to serve citizens when he delivered a keynote address at the launch of ECOWAS at 50.
Okay, so talking about ECOWAS, let me just chip this one. If you go to the Informa newspaper, we recently lost the pontiff, and there are cases being made here and there as to who should represent that office going forward. Well, there's a piece here, Nigerian Archbishop makes a case for black pope. And he calls Ignos Kaigama, the Archbishop of the Abuja Diocese in Nigeria, has a rubbish claim suggesting that it will be difficult for an African to rise to the position of the Pope in the Vatican, insisting that they are overly qualified for
Meanwhile, Pope Francis' coffin is about to be moved to St. Peter's Basilica for public mourning. And then there's an article on the BBC, will the next Pope be an African? So basically the question you're asking. There are also a few stories on the BBC why the IMF is worried about the economy, global economy, and it's saying that there are issues of growth there, and of course there are issues in Russia as 9 people are killed in Russian attack on a Ukraine bus. All this and more on the BBC website. Thank you, Sky. We'll be back with more. That was the newspaper review. Coming up next, City Business News.
But Bernard, before you go, though, Accra is looking really nasty.
After the rain, eh?
Oh my word, terrible.
Looking for a burst of flavor in every sip? Discover the refreshing taste of Piva beverages. Enjoy the classic Piva Cola flavor, perfect fit anytime. How about a fruity adventure? Try our delightful Piva orange fruit drink packed with recognized citrus flavor. Craving something exotic? Our Piva cocktail fruit drink brings the tropics to you. For a sweet and juicy treat, grab our grapefruit drink and don't miss out on the refreshing Piva Tangerine fruit drink, bursting with tangerine flavor. Piva Cola, Piva Orange, Piva Cocktail, Piva Grape, Piva Tangy. Grab yours today. Available now at your local store. Call us on 055-00-322-31. Piva, a taste you'd love. This advert is FDA approved.
P for Piva.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Gugomi, at what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open there.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
My buddy, when you wake up in the morning and you know the money calling, oh, you go work, but you know it's out in your side. If I believe with us, if I hold my hand and believe, cause you know it's out in your side. When you dream, no say I live for you. And when you hustle every day, many wanna go. Anything you do, I live for you. Many want. If I believe I'm in your side, fidelity. If I believe with us, fidelity. If I know I'm in your side, fidelity.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
City Business News with Nashika Caesar. Good morning, Na.
Good morning, Bernard. Hello and welcome to the breakfast edition of the City Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goil and EcoBank. I'm Nashika Caesar. Coming up, as crude oil prices tumble on international market, could it impact government's revenue target? We'll tell you more shortly. Also coming up, economic watchers want government to prioritize boosting agricultural productivity to mitigate impact of global trade uncertainties. And later, ECOWAS to continue talks with 3 West African countries that broke away from the regional bloc. Let's settle for the details of our stories now. ECOWAS says it will continue to dialogue with the three West African countries that broke away from the regional bloc. Niger, Burkina Faso and Mali have withdrawn from ECOWAS to form the Alliance of Sahel States. The ECOWAS leader, including President Mahama, have made attempts to bring them back. The efforts have proven futile. Speaking to journalists in Accra, the ECOWAS Commissioner for Political Affairs, Ambassador Dr. Abdel Fattah Musa, says diplomacy will be used to deal with the Alliance of Sahel States.
We are not discouraged. At one point, this country didn't want to receive any of the heads of state from the region. We have seen recently the foreign minister of Nigeria has been to Niger, had very fruitful discussions with them. The president of Ghana has visited, those countries, and he has appointed a special envoy, between the region and the three countries in the part, particularly with Niger, right? So we feel that it will take some time, but we are hopeful. We are not going to say we don't take no for an answer, so we'll continue engaging them and then to ensure that we move forward together as brothers and sisters within one community.
You heard there the ECOWAS Commissioner for Political Affairs, Ambassador Dr. Abdel Fattah Musa, speaking there. Now, the recent plunge in crude oil prices on the international market may offer short-term relief at the fuel pumps, but it poses a significant threat to Ghana's revenue projections, a development that could put the managers of the country's purse on edge. In 2025 budget, government is banking on over $1 billion in revenue from crude oil exports based on a benchmark price of $74 per barrel. However, in the last 2 weeks, global oil prices have been fluctuating between $61 and $65 per barrel, well below the forecast. Analysts warn of a potential shortfall in projected earnings. Here's more.
The drop in prices is largely driven by weakening global demand, with many analysts predicting a further decline. This, they caution, could derail the country's revenue target, further tightening the fiscal space. Fitch Solutions, in its recent report, indicated that sub-Saharan Africa oil exporting markets will come under significant pressure should global oil prices fail to recover. Brent crude prices have dropped by around 14% since April 2, with rising fears of a global economic slowdown being exacerbated by the decision by OPEC to accelerate the return of its cut barrels to the market. The situation is particularly concerning given the potential dip in revenue from non-traditional exports due to the new import tariff hikes by the U.S., an added blow to the country's already stretched finances. On the flip side, some market analysts argue that lower crude prices could lead to reduced fuel costs locally. This may help ease inflationary pressures and offer some stability to the local currency, providing a glimmer of relief amid the broader economic uncertainty. Already, the Deputy Finance Minister, Thomas Ampem-Nyako, has announced that the government will soon engage transport operators to reduce fares in response to declining fuel prices.
That report was filed by my colleague Emmanuel Opong. Now, the Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiam, has announced that a central bank is expected to commence regulation of cryptocurrency and related platforms by the end of September 2025. Speaking at the African Leaders and Partners Forum on the sidelines of the IMF World Bank Spring meetings in Washington, D.C., Dr. Johnson Isiam explained that the move is contingent on the passage of the Virtual Asset Providers Act. This legislation will empower the Bank of Ghana to license and regulate platforms and players operating in the virtual asset space to enhance the regulation of these platforms and assets. The Bank of Ghana is establishing a dedicated unit focused on digital assets. The forum brought together stakeholders from finance, trade and agriculture across Ghana, the U.S. and Europe and the Americas to explore strategies to provide trade and investment between Africa and the United States. Now, economic watchers are calling on the government to prioritize boosting agricultural productivity in order to mitigate the impact of global trade uncertainties. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has significantly revised its global economic forecast, downgrading it by 2.8% for 2025, a sharp decline from the 3.3% growth projected in January. This revision is attributed to escalating trade tensions between the United States and its trading partners, particularly related to new tariffs. In an interview with Citi Business News, economist Professor Godfred Bokpin emphasized that these trade disruptions should be viewed as an opportunity for Ghana to strengthen its agricultural sector.
If you look at Ghana, we are not even producing enough to feed ourselves to even talk about exporting. And if you look at foodstuffs that we are importing and the rest of them from Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and the rest of them, there's room. These challenges are also opportunities. There's room actually for us to transform our economy using agriculture, agribusiness, and agro-processing. That way, once we're able to generate sufficiency within your own country, our own country, you can also think about exporting the excess to other neighboring countries, because within Africa as a whole, our food deficit runs into billions of dollars.
You had there Professor Godfred Bokpin, who is an economist. Now let's have a quick market check on the currency board across some forex bureaus. The dollar is going for 16 cedis, 10 pesos. The British pound is going for 20 cedis, 40 pesos, and the euro is going for 17 cedis, 30 pesos. Remember that these are the rates being offered by the forex bureaus to the public. And that's all for the breakfast edition of the Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goyle, and EcoBank. I'm Nashika Caesar. Many thanks for your company. Do have a great business day.
Charlie, where are you?
Bossman, I'm at the bank.
Really? But your car is in front of your house.
Bro, my bank on my phone, Charlie.
Oh, how?
EcoBank, bro. With EcoBank mobile app, I can do everything, anywhere, anytime. Listen, I just checked my account balance, paid Ahmed's school fees, and sent money to my grandma at Walwale.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Masa, just download the EcoBank mobile app from the Google Play Store or the App Store, or dial *770# and be your own bank manager.
Manager.
Whether to pay bills or fees, to check account statements, send money across Ghana, abroad, and more, EcoBank mobile app has got it covered. EcoBank Mobile, making everyday people live everyday lives the EcoBank way. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Ten minutes past the hour of 7. Citi Business News brought to you by EcoBank. Every day people face different emergencies. Hey, police, fire, medical, but there's also financial emergency. And with the situation we have now, here's one emergency number you don't want to forget: *770#. Yes, *770# is the new EcoBank Money Emergency number. Gives you instant access to loans, fund transfer, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more, even without data. No need to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency. We'll always come to your rescue. Dial *770# for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. And kickoff is next with Lesheho. The Don't Call Me campaign has come to you because you deserve financial peace. Life comes with financial challenges, but with Lesheho, you don't have to face them alone. From now until April 30, we've reduced our interest rates just for you. Whether it's education, rent, or unexpected expenses, we've got the right loans to meet your needs. Call 0270-040-799. Let's make life easier together. Act now before the offer ends. Lesheho, let's improve life. Segment is also brought to you by Polytank. In Ghana, you get deceived if you're not sure of what you're buying or you don't really know the market. When it comes to water storage tanks, the name we all know is Polytank. For the past 30 years, we've been trusted by generations. Make no mistake, choose Polytank for guaranteed quality. Polytank does not request for more payments online. And we have Polytank in various kinds: the Rambo, the Hippo, the Sumo, and the Super Sumo. Durability always assured. And there are some classic celebrations that call for whipping out your favorite China sets. Same goes for a luxury vehicle. Just any engine oil won't do. Premium understands premium best. The new Shell Helix Ultra Zero W20 SP with carbon neutral properties is the one for your premium car. It's a fully synthetic motor oil designed from natural gas using the Shell Pure Plus technology. Prevents dirt buildup with exceptional cleaning power, leaves your pistons cleaner than a whistle, up to 50% more than the industry standard, and gives you stronger, longer lasting engine performance. Use the Shell Helix Ultra Zero W20 SP, made for premium. Shell, designed for ultimate engine performance.
Doku skipping clear of Disasi, cross the face, and it's Mateus Nunes who wins it at the death for Manchester City. In the race for the Champions League places, it's City by a short head. A 94th minute decider from Mateus Nunes, an unlikely matchman.
Gabi Ofe storming the studio.
El Bernardo.
Good morning, how are you doing?
I'm good. Well, Matheus Nunes scoring a priceless stoppage time winner as Manchester City beat top 5 rivals Aston Villa 2-1 last night to boost their bet to qualify for the Champions League. We have another game later tonight at the Emirates from week 34. Reactions coming up. Plus, we'll take you all the way to Egypt as Ghana's Black Satellites step up preparation for the upcoming Under-20 AFCON. Kickoff is proudly brought to you by Zonda GH, Shell Go Well, Polytank Ghana, Lasheho. Let's improve life. Well, many thanks for joining me. I am Gabi Ofe. Let's start off from Kumasi. Now, with only 6 games left in the season, Asante Kotoko do have a new coach in Abdul Karim Zito, who's been appointed as the technical director as well, following the dismissal of Prosper Nate Ogum. Now, the decision comes after a loss to Nations FC in their last game at the Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex. Zito, previously with Dreams FC, replaces Ogum, who began his second stint with the club back in July 2023.
Good play from the goal scorer, Nafiu Sulemana. It is still Nafiu for Imanolano to make it 2. Yes! That is the second goal. What a goal! Beautiful football from Nations FC.
Asante Kotoko's 2-0 loss to Nations FC marked their 4th consecutive game without a win, dropping them from 1st to 4th place with 47 points, just 6 games before the season's end. The Kumasi-based club has drawn 5 and lost 2 of their last 7 matches, with back-to-back defeats against Accra Lions and Nations FC. They now trail league leaders Bibini Gold Stars by 6 points. Prosper Nate Ogum, who led Kotoko to the 2021-22 league title, struggled in his second stint. This season, Kotoko recorded 13 wins, 8 draws, and 7 losses in 28 matches, scoring 28 goals and conceding 21, averaging 1.68 points per game. These results have sparked dissatisfaction among some supporters.
For instance, and it's a way kind of I was a mere them, a common move for rubber. And to open the Juma and so any my and to us all not your bets my what team but has all be that talk your decamp by the chamber.
See, the tea and Neham and a son shocking me, but say, maybe all the team at Dano, I saw my common. Has a man, saw my common, was okay as a coach. Maybe on all day, the team that now still on almost that's maintaining na be ogum be or no so the team na do na so makamo no then can pay them me say na ha but ultimate me be mo penifo na chere say ono so ka ho because the way I want so I thought there be only players no but yes only we anya problem only we anya problem ni nyina ka ho and then maybe more on the sack na aba.
Asante Kotoko face a challenging lineup of matches in their final 6 games of the season, starting with a Super 2 clash against rivals Accra Heart of Oak in Accra. They will then take on the Duana FC on April 27, Rekum Chelsea, Dreams FC, league leaders Viviani Gold Stars, and Mediama Sporting Club. With these games coming up, Kotoko announced earlier today the appointment of Abdul Karim Zito as the club's technical director and will also act as the head coach for the rest of the season. All right, so that's it. Abdul Karim Zito will meet the press this morning at 9 a.m. at the Babara Sports Stadium in Kumasi. Zito is acting as an interim head coach and technical director, leading a new era in the club's technical restructuring. Well, joining him in the reshape tech setup is Prince Yao Owusu, who takes up the role of the assistant coach. So we'll keep you posted with regards to the presser happening later this morning at 9 a.m. Well, let's head to Egypt, and the Black Satellites suffered a 2-1 defeat to Zambia's under-20 side at the Tulip Garden Sports Complex ahead of the under-20 AFCON in Egypt. Now, the match was played behind closed doors, and the Chipolopolo of Zambia, the junior side, of course, beat the Satellites by 2-1. The friendly was a crucial part of Ghana's preps for the Group C campaign at the U20 AFCON, where they'll face DR Congo on May 2, defending champion Senegal on May 5, and the Central African Republic on May 8, all in Suez. Away from Egypt, down here in Ghana for the CAF African School Football Championship, it will start today for the boys. Ghana will take on Uganda this morning at 11:30 a.m. at the University of Ghana Stadium. Later tomorrow is Ghana up against South Africa at 11 a.m. Ghana will then take on Algeria later tomorrow as well at 3 p.m. And for the head coach of Ghana's national under-15 boys team, Kojo Danso, he says Ghana is proud and privileged to host the rest of Africa for this year's CAF African Schools Football Championship.
Ghana, we are fortunate to host this tournament. In fact, after going through the secondary school program to select players, we normally get 10 days looking at the time to prepare towards the zonal competition. But this time around, we were very fortunate to have gotten 1 month to prepare for this particular competition. So we are prepared well. Management have done their part, we the technical team have done their part with the support of Ghana Football Association. So now I must say that the assurance is there, and we are promising that we will announce the trophy come the end of this competition.
All right, so that's Ghana's under 15 coach for the men's side, Kojo Danso speaking there. Well, for the CAF African Football Championship, for the girls, Ghana will take on Morocco. Also today at 12:30 p.m. Later tomorrow is Ghana versus Benin. At 12 p.m. Ghana will take on Malawi again at 4 p.m. Well, let's get to Europe, and Matthias Zinner scored in the 94th minute to give Manchester City priceless victory over fellow top 5 contenders Aston Villa at the Etihad Stadium and move third in the battle for Champions League place next season. City are now third in the table, 4 points clear of Villa and Chelsea, who have a game in hand and remain just outside the top 5. Here's City boss Pep Guardiola.
I think the last minute games winning belongs Liverpool, especially how many times with Jurgen in the last minute scores, Arsenal as well with Mikel. We are not used to. So I'm really, really happy, for the goal that we scored at the end, because we are in the last 4 or 5 games and with a Champions League contender, qualification, like it's Aston Villa, like it's, Aston Villa is a team like in the last month proved is one of the top of the best teams in Europe, and we play really, really good in all departments, in our aggressive, in our duels. The back four was unbelievable in all departments. So yeah, I'm really pleased for the game we played.
All right, so that's a delighted Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola speaking. On the part of Aston Villa, we hear from Yuri Tillman after the 2-1 loss to City.
Yeah, it was. It's so frustrating to lose last minute of the game, where we fought really hard. We blocked pretty much everything other than their goal, their first one, and then to lose like that on that last action was so frustrating.
All right, so that's Aston Villa's Yuri Tillman after losing to Manchester City by 2-1. Later today at the Emirates, Arsenal will take on Crystal Palace at 7 p.m. And for Arsenal, they have already given up on their pursuit of the Premier League title, but Liverpool could be officially confirmed as champion should the Gunners lose to Palace later tonight. Here's what Mikel Arteta thinks about tonight's game.
Our incentive is to win our game and do our best to continue with the run that we are in right now. The rest we cannot control.
Do you like a bit of housery, what we call housery?
What does that mean?
Trying to take a bit of a sly advantage of situations so another team suffers?
If another team suffers, well, depends how you make him suffer. Naughty? I wouldn't describe that, no.
Well, I'm just thinking, if you do lose tomorrow night, maybe the edge of the disappointment would be taken off because Tottenham on Sunday would have to give a guard of honour for Liverpool.
I think you're going too far. I'm too focused on the match, I think.
All right, so that's Arsenal's manager, first team head coach Mikel Arteta, speaking ahead of their tie against Crystal Palace later tonight at the Emirates, and live radio commentary on 97.3. This is the home of the Premier League. Well, in Spain, Dani Olmo scored a decisive goal as Barca dominated Mallorca to extend their lead at the top of the table. Barca now hold a 7-point lead at the top of the table with closest challengers Real Madrid playing later today. They take on Getafe in the Spanish La Liga. In the Italian Serie A, 3 matches have been rescheduled to avoid a clash with Pope Francis' funeral. The Argentine final will take place in Vatican City on Saturday, April 26. So Como versus Genoa, Inter Milan versus Roma will now take place on Sunday, with Lazio v Parma rescheduled for Monday. Well, let's finish off with some NBA. And Luka Doncic scored a game-high 31 points for the Los Angeles Lakers as they beat Minnesota Timberwolves 94-85 to level their Western Conference first-round playoff series at 1-1. Doncic sank 16 of his points in the first quarter as the home side started strongly, and his overall performance also included 12 rebounds and 9 assists. There's more sports news later for you at 5 p.m. But in the meantime, you can head to citysportsonline.com, and on X, you can find us at City Sports GH. Kickoff is proudly brought to you by Zonda GH, Shell Go Well, Lesheho, Let's Improve Life, and Polytangana. I am Gabi Ofe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do take care. Bye-bye.
Polytank is everywhere, durable and authentic. Stronger brand you can trust. Polytank, we get some more Rambo and get some more super. And the Polytank, we did Polytank. Papa no no, 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 Ankasa. Polytank, the original, always the best.
Services, innovative financial solutions. We deliver on our promise, cause we are number one. Let's share go, we improve your life. Even when you're stuck with nothing, no matter your situation, let's share go, we improve your life. Let's share go, let's share go, let's share go, hey mama, hey mama, hey mama. Let's share go, we improve your life.
There are some classy celebrations that calls for whipping out your favorite China sets. Same goes for your luxury vehicle. Just any engine oil won't do. Premium understands premium best. The new Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP is the one for your premium car. It's a fully synthetic motor oil designed using the Shell Pure Plus technology. Prevents dirt buildup with exceptional cleaning power, leaving your pistons cleaner than a whistle up to 50% more than the industry standard, and gives you stronger, long-lasting engine performance. So, if you want your classic car to run smoothly like a Ferrari for years to come, use the Shell Helix Ultra SP 020 made for premium. Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP, designed for ultimate engine performance.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
See, your rich auntie gets more from Absa. Your childhood friend gets more from Absa. Your favorite uncle gets more from Absa. Your roommate's cry gets more from Absa. Digital solutions get more from Absa. Rewards me bring get more from Absa. 5-star treatment get more from Absa. Preferential rate get more from Absa. Easy banking and no ane Absa. Instant loans and no ane Absa. Bank papa party and no ane Absa. MTK account and get more from Absa. Yes! Join thousands of Absa customers enjoying priority treatment, preferential rates, amazing rewards, and seamless digital solutions to help you write the next big chapter of your story. Sign up for an Absa account today and get more. Your story matters. Absa.
LPG. I am from a jar and hotse. Nanso se ehubetia mawa agisa wudi edi dwuma yi. Ansa na wo beso wujanu. Hwia na hwe se mframeja ho nka biara enje ho. Se wote mframeja ho pampa na buebue apono ne mpoma no nyina eba ne saa a menso ana me enumbre biara edi enyina mahoden eye adwuma. Dundum eja biara a waso wo ho. Na frɛ onimdifo mano mmehwe mawo. Fasamina nsuogu mframeja tontruwa no ano. Se wo ehuro a natural se etue ampa ta ehwe se droben na etwe mframeja no hu ntue na ta isesa droben no acha preko mfie mienu biara echi hwe se abri biara wo be soja no wo bepa wo matches ansa na waso wo stove hwe se mframeja ne ho asode no adum abri biara wo mfandi dwuma biara nkratoyi yi Free National Petroleum Authority aswe.
The books are in and the boots are out, guys. The kids have entered the building. The future of African football is happening right here in Legon Stadium, Ghana. This is history in the making. We are seeing the Nesta Pele, DJ Drogba, or Samoa Jan right here on the pitch.
Ghana, let's play now. Come support our future stars at the CAF African Schools Football Championship from April 21 to 26. CAF African Schools Football Championship. Engage, encourage, educate.
Level up your game with Samsung this Easter.
Call me the Gadget Master. Yes, this Easter is the Samsung Excellent Deals. Charlie, what are you waiting for? Up to 30% off. A06 starting at 1,499. Grab your Galaxy A26 for 4,199 Ghana cedis. A56 6,599. And your Galaxy Tab A9 is starting at 2,599 Ghana cedis. What more can you ask for? Okay, this is bonus. Grab your Galaxy Watch 7 and thank me later. Price has drastically dropped from 5,099 to 3,569 Ghana cedis. Don't forget, promo valid from 11th April to 4th May.
Terms and conditions apply.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
7:32. Michael Jackson. Few people celebrating their birthdays this morning. Bringing you those requests in a second. "15 years ago, you changed our world. Happy 15th birthday to our amazing numero uno, Troy Papa Adeanu Hagen. Being your first-time parents was the best thing that ever happened to us. We are forever grateful to God for guiding you thus far. Here's to many more adventures together and God's unending blessings upon your life. Love loads from Dad and Mom, Leela and PK, and your siblings Troy and Tyrell. Troy, live long, prosper, keep shining." MFA Otema Akosia Jandu, our joy bringer, our princess. God bless you so much on this 8th birthday. Continue to grow in grace, beauty, and favor. We love you so much from Daddy, Gesh, Mommy, Otems, Edem, and Eira. That's MFA Otema Akosia Jandu. You fill my life with so much pride, laughter, and love. Watching you grow into the amazing person you are today has been one of my greatest joys. Your heart strength and kindness inspire me every single day. May this year bring you even more blessings, bigger dreams, and endless happiness. You deserve nothing but the best always. Love you more than words can say. My little professor, I wish you the best birthday. Professor Senna DKS. From Dr. Kojo Besasovo. So this Prof Senna is supposed to be your son?
Okay.
So is the Prof his name or his title? People work for that thing. So I give it. It looks like a young guy. So I'm not really sure if he's a professor by accomplishment, professor by nickname.
So, I use that every now and then though to refer to people. So I can call this my professor.
From Dr. Kojo Sovo to Professor Senna DKS.
You never know.
But the picture attached is like a young person, like a 14-year-old. Or
we are speaking it to existence.
Very well.
Well,
Sovo, Professor Sovo.
It's interesting.
No. Balanyalaga.
Are you?
But before we go any further, let me just quickly thank a listener of the station. Yesterday when I stepped out, I saw a huge gallon of Jomi from Pando.
The way you are appropriating these things, the way you are appropriating these things to yourself.
I'm first one for you.
Sky, I don't think the way you are appropriating these things to yourself, it's become very serious.
But it's why I'm putting you on notice. It's not like I'm hiding it, And he has said that he will perform, and he sent a message yesterday. So it's Sami. Sami, yes.
Asasira.
Yes. So Sami from Pando, proper Jomi from that enclave. So God bless you, and may your band never lack. I bless you, and come and perform. Bernard is, afraid that you might not perform. I know you will perform, so please come and perform. And going forward, I think we should even build a business around Jomi. Yeah.
See your life. Happy belated birthday to Prophet Paul Kwakuni, great man of God. Enjoy the very best. That was yesterday, the 22nd of April. Prophet Paul Kwakuni, yesterday was your birthday. Have a fantastic celebration. The lawyers are in town. Where this is our work, but when like some matter happen, then you go online, then you read British guy, right? Kwesi Prempe, right? Kojo, something has right. Bakabama has written. Justice has written. Everybody, hey, for one issue there are 2,000 positions.
Public square is a marketplace.
That's what I like. That's why I like. Everybody should give their opinion.
What I find interesting is the same law. Everybody is looking at it from a different angle. So how do the judges even sleep? One simple matter, they will go round. So today the lawyers will have a field day. Yesterday we listened to about 4 of them, and there are more lining up to talk today. Discretionary power, Constitution Article 14610. Hey! former AG, that's the two boy, yes, acidic and poisonous.
It looks like today will be me and you be assisting Sky.
Charlie, today, Lord, Charlie,
looks like we'll be assisting.
I want
Sky.
to even find my constitution again, open it and sharpen my mind. It's not video. It's unconstitutional. The constitutionality of the legal accoutrement. Hey. So yeah, today the CJ song full CJ Charlie. Before that, experience the thrill of easy banking with Zenith Bank this season. Enjoy 24-hour access to Zenith Bank's secure digital banking channels from the comfort of your home, office, or wherever you are. Make quick and easy payments with your Zenith card. That's a Visa card, MasterCard, or EasyPay Ghana or GH Dual card. You can also use Z Mobile Ghana app, Zenith Internet Banking, or dial *966# to manage your account, buy data bundles and airtime, make payments and more. No stress, no long waits, just smooth, secure and instant banking. Call 054-2000-111 or 0302-680-884. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. If you're looking for a delicious snack for both kids and adults, try Belmu flavored milk. Comes in chocolate and sweet strawberry flavors. Perfect for any time of the day for your lunch boxes, after school snacks, or quick pick-me-ups. For bulk distribution, call 0544-335-900 or 0544-335-800. Belmu, deliciously delicious. Another quality product from Belacqua. And renewing your motor insurance policy with SG Ghana is not just about getting reliable cover for you and your vehicle. There are amazing extra benefits that will blow your mind. From now till 30th May, buy or renew your comprehensive motor insurance policy with SG Ghana, sound, drive, and win big. You stand a chance of winning a 2-night all-expense-paid stay for two at the luxurious Safari Valley Resort. You can also win 4 brand new tires, or get free car servicing for a whole year, and get up to 1,000 cedis free fuel instantly just for renewing or buying your comprehensive motor insurance with us. Call 0302-214-314 for more information, or walk to the nearest SG Ghana branch to buy or renew your motor insurance policy today. SG Ghana Sound Drive is underwritten by Sanlam Alliance General. Terms and conditions apply.
Yes, Bernard, let me use this opportunity to say happy birthday to Jamil Nete of CBG Internal Control Department. He's a wonderful man. He's a man I love so much, and may God bless him for all he continues to do for the family. I love you, darling. It's coming in from your wife, Miriam Nete from First National Bank in Accra. So it's going out to Mr. Jamil Nete, who is the husband of Miriam Nete, celebrating him this morning.
Let's give you some highlights of the issue. So let's start with Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwatcho Fosu. He was interviewed on Eyewitness News defending the decision of the president to suspend CJ Gertrude Tokonu, stating the decision was rooted in constitutional procedure, that the suspension follows a prima facie case being established after 3 petitions sought her removal in line with Article 1466 of the 1992 Constitution. A 5-member committee has also been formed to investigate the matter. Here are highlights of that conversation.
The Constitution provides detailed guidelines on how such a matter should be handled. You would recall that a couple of weeks ago, I issued a statement in which I informed the Ghanaian public that the president has received 3 separate petitions from some individuals and groups in which they make various allegations against the Chief Justice and demand her removal from office. You are a lawyer, so you are pretty familiar with the provisions of the Constitution, which stipulates that once the president receives such a petition, he must go through a certain process. The first step is to consult the Council of State with the view to making a prima facie determination. That is, whether or not there is a basis to proceed any further beyond receiving the petition. That process involves consultation, which ultimately results in furnishing the Chief Justice with copies of the petition and requesting her to respond in order to facilitate the prima facie determination process. this was done. Once the president received the Chief Justice's responses, he continued with the consultation process with the Council of State. That process resulted in a determination of a prima facie case, which then leads to further recourse to the Constitution, which says then that the president must set up a 5-member committee in consultation with the Council of State. The Constitution spells out the membership and composition of this committee, and it is clear from the statement I issued that the president has acted in total consonance with the constitutional stipulation. Once that happens, the petitions get referred to the committee, and then the president then acts on Article 14610 to, by warrant, suspend the Chief Justice pending the determination of the petitions that I have spoken about. So this is exactly what the president has done. It is not entirely unprecedented in that just before President Akufo-Addo left office, he also received a petition calling for the removal of the Chief Justice. He went through a similar process, except that he ended at the prima facie determination stage and said that there was no merit in the petition that it was frivolous, and therefore he did not continue. President Mahama has only made a prima facie determination in consultation with the Council of State, and therefore has kicked into motion other processes outlined in the Constitution.
I see, but do we know how long this committee has to conclude its work in terms of investigating the allegations brought against the Chief Justice?
Well, the Constitution does not impose timelines, and I believe that these are experienced people. We have two eminent jurists, very senior jurists who are on the Supreme Court, who have capacity, in my view, to establish a process that is conducive enough for the Chief Justice to be given sufficient time and space to answer to the claims made against in the petitions. I do not anticipate that they will go beyond a reasonable time frame, even though I cannot give you a specific time frame, because no such time frame is prescribed by the Constitution.
I just wanted to find out whether the president, in appointing them, gave them some time limits within which they could work.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, I just wanted to find out whether the president, in appointing them, gave them some time limits within which they could work.
So no such time limits were given. It is expected that they will act within reasonable time. Because the president cannot do anything that is not prescribed by the Constitution. The Constitution does not impose any timeline.
Very well. So I mean, whilst it is... the case that the Constitution lays out in 146, how the Chief Justice will be removed if the need arises, etc., etc., which makes it quite mandatory in the processes and the step-by-step the President has been following. When you look at 14610, that leaves the President with some discretion. It says where a petition has been referred to a committee under this article, the President may. So that's in relation to the suspension of the Chief Justice whilst the committee works. The president could have decided to exercise his discretion otherwise. Why did he choose to suspend her whilst he could have exercised the discretion such that the Chief Justice could have remained in office or could remain in office?
It's a valid point you raise. A discretion conferred by the Constitution ought to be exercised reasonably. In fact, the Constitution itself requires that be done. But we have a situation where the Chief Justice, who superintends Ghana's judiciary, has been accused of some wrongdoing. Now you have a committee made up of persons who work within the judiciary who she supervises. So one can raise issues about the likelihood of interference. And that is a point that must be considered. Is it ideal? Is it proper? Is it something that can stand scrutiny for the person against whom these claims have been made to continue to supervise a judicial system whose members are part of this adjudicating process? The second point is that the Chief Justice has significant administrative work to do in terms of the day-to-day running of the judiciary. And this matter is one also that requires her fullest attention because her position is at stake. Indeed, her image is also at stake. Her reputation is at stake. So she needs to give it utmost attention to the extent that she believes that there are reasons that vindicate her and render the petition unmeritorious. And to run this case and mount a credible defense whilst taking on board the huge responsibility that comes with administering Ghana's judicial system imposes a bit of a burden in the view of the president. So it was the president's judgment that he needs maximum concentration to be able to mount a credible defense, whilst also eliminating any likelihood of interference, given that she is in a powerful position as head of Ghana's judiciary.
So that was Felix Kwachi Ofosu, Minister of State for Government Communications, speaking to Solomon Adonu. Meanwhile, former MP for Abuakwa South and the lawyer Samala Tachia has been speaking about this. He has raised questions about the legality of the process, saying that there was already a pending matter before the Supreme Court, which he believes should have been dealt with before the president proceeded. Here are excerpts of his views expressed on the same program.
A humble view that you mentioned Article 146. And then the president became president on the basis of the Constitution. And staring at everybody in the face, including the president and the members of the Council of State, there's a writ before the Supreme Court, which is also defined in the very Constitution. And on the back of that is application for interlocutory injunction, filed on the 27th of March, 2025. And the import of that is to restrain the president and the Council of State from proceeding on the consultation processes for the removal of the Chief Justice under Article 146. So when the president and the Council of State should ignore the application for interlocutory injunction, they are in contempt of the Supreme Court. They are disrespecting the constitutional postulates that they sign on to. So it is very unfortunate. I am of the view that there is no indecent haste to get a new Chief Justice or even an acting Chief Justice. Everything should go through due process. And when the Supreme Court should make a determination one or the other, and the coast is clear that, look, the president should continue with what he's doing, that is the way to go. So for my part,
yes.
Yes.
But what is the law? Educate us. Can the Supreme Court stop the president from carrying out a job, a constitutionally mandated job like this one? Can the Supreme Court stop him from doing so?
Of course. Go and pay regard to Article 2 of the Constitution. That any act which is inconsistent with the Constitution or a conduct that contravenes the Constitution, it's not void, it's of no consequence. So if the president is perpetuating illegality, constitutional illegality, or even a constitutional coup d'etat, you trying to subvert the judiciary in the name of executive powers, the Supreme Court is the forum to checkmate him and everybody. So we shouldn't give an impression that when you become the president, then you can subvert the very Constitution that brought you into power. It's a huge contradiction that we should watch. Because our democracy, which is a constitutional democracy, is very young. And I thought the president will respect the Supreme Court that is about to determine whether or not the Council of State and himself can proceed with the business of trying to remove the Chief Justice. And they didn't want to wait for that determination. So as I'm talking now, on top of my head, it's contempt, which is staring at them in the face.
So will you want to activate the processes to exact the punishment of contempt of the Supreme Court on the President and the Council of State then?
With the greatest respect, the lawyer of record is Godfrey Yebu Adami. He is the one who is aiding Vincent Eko Asefua, the Member of Parliament. So I think that is his remit. It's not my remit. I'm trying to contribute to the important issues you are raising by trying to let you understand that as far as I'm concerned, and with my elementary understanding of the law, there's a huge contempt staring at the face of the President and the Council of State.
I see. But be that as it may, the decision has been made. And, many people have characterized it differently. Some say that it is a day for accountability. Others think it's a witch hunt. Where will you stand on this?
Well, I wouldn't want to call it anything. I believe I will not want to impute ill motives to anybody. But what I'm saying is that insofar as a conduct is inconsistent with the Constitution, if there is any attempt by any entity, be it Parliament or even executive, to subvert the very constitution that gave them significance. It's an abhorrent position, and we should all stand against it. It's not right.
But you see, this position, yes, we know about this position, but I mean, perhaps you politicians, I mean, we've seen many times actions in the Supreme Court. There's a writ filed, interlocutory injunction applications filed as well. I mean, the recent case being the NDC versus the EC in respect of some registration, etc. An interlocutory injunction was filed. The AG was a party in that matter. The EC as well. What did we see? Irrespective of the interlocutory application before the Supreme Court, the EC went ahead and did its registration and did all it had to do. And so it's not something that we have come to be used to us in doing. We know this is before the Supreme Court. We don't care. We go ahead and do what pleases us. Is that not what has brought us here?
I don't think so. It's the impotence of somebody in not trying to hold the EC before the Supreme Court for contempt, which will promote the impunity. I'm saying that people don't want to uphold the Constitution. Understand? Because it is that book which, when you joke with it, then you are treading in the areas of high treason. They call it high crime for you to tinker with the Constitution. So if there is a contempt opportunity for you to bring EC before a court of competent jurisdiction for them to deal with the issue of contempt, albeit the EC will be heard and the court determines it. And you don't do it. It's not a nonsense for others to follow in the same manner. No, at all.
I see. But, I mean, let me take your thoughts on this. The matter we are talking about as before the Supreme Court, I mean, I think there are 5 justices on that matter. One of them is Justice Samuel Adibo Asiedu, who, incidentally, is one of the 2 justices of the Supreme Court on this 5-member committee. What does that mean? And what does that also mean for the pending case? He's on that case as well. Indeed, he was the judge who could not turn up the last time, for which reason the matter was adjourned. Now we see him on this 5-member committee. What does that mean for that case before the Supreme Court?
What is the name of the judge you mentioned? I lost it.
Justice Asiedu, but his full name is Justice Samuel Adibo Asiedu.
Yes. Whatever it is, you could color every judge with whatever, political colors you have. But essentially, if you
I'm not talking about political coloration. I mean, I'm just looking at how it works administratively and even judicially.
Well, it doesn't change anything.
That he's on a committee to determine whether the CJ, is aired or not. And at the same time, also at the Supreme Court, sitting on a case that is seeking to declare the actions of the president unconstitutional in respect of how the president and the Council of State have conducted themselves?
Well, the law is that unless you can show bias, you can see to for an attorney general. Those issues you are trying to canvass were raised. If you can't show bias, then the office of the judge cannot be tainted. The office of the judge should continue. If he wants to recuse himself that he believes he is conflicted, fine, that is up to him to do. But apart from that, if he is supposed to determine a matter and he sat on the matter before, or he's even sitting on the matter, and he doesn't want to recuse himself, apart from ill motives and bias, the Supreme Court has held that you can't stop him. That is it.
4 minutes to 8 Citi Breakfast Show. This is that was an excerpt of an interview Atacha granted to Selam Adono on Eyewitness yesterday. Coming up next, we'll bring you tech and social media trends. I will be speaking to Deputy AG on this matter. There are at least 3 key questions that have arisen from what has occurred. The first one is what Atacha has put out, the issue of the pendency of a matter that was brought by Vincent Sifua, and the fact that matter also have been determined on the 6th of May, and whether the president should have waited before proceeding to exercise this discretion of asking the CJ to step aside for now while the full judicial or quasi-judicial inquiry goes on. That's point number 1. Point number 2, CDD Kwesi Prempeh raising concerns about the current process and the lack of transparency where he says the Constitution, and he's actually dealing with the article itself, not necessarily the president's action. He's talking about the fact that the article itself, it appears to be secretive and does not enjoin the duty bearer to tell us everything they do at every step of the way. That's point number 2. Then there's point number 3, which Sky raises this morning. He also put on his Facebook page as well that because Article 146 uses the word may, the president may suspend. It is not a shall. So once they say you may do something, it's your discretion. And he's saying that the Article 296 of the Constitution provides what is called procedural safeguards for exercising a discretion when it is being exercised in a judicial or quasi-judicial manner.
In a quasi-judicial.
Yes, and what the president is doing can be considered a quasi-judicial situation. So, and in that Supreme Court judgment, this was between who and who, sir?
For France, the EC and the Attorney General.
In that case, which justice ruled on this matter?
The respected Justice Dateba.
His view was that the officer exercising that discretion ought to explain his action using a constitutional instrument or a CI, which is what Mr. Sky believes should have been the right procedure to use. We'll deal with those matters shortly, but let's go into technical media trends. Brought to us by Telecel. If you're looking for the best value data and voice offers that are tailored to your unique needs, we understand this. The made-for-me bundles are affordable, customized data and voice packages personalized for you. Dial *530# or download the Telecel app Play today to subscribe to your special made-for-me bundle. Telecel, connecting energies. Also brought to you by First Bank, sending money to Nigeria, Gambia, Guinea, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Kenya, Djibouti, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, all made easier through the PAPS. Pan-African Payment and Settlement System is available at First Bank Ghana. Call 059-6921-921. First Bank, you first. Mr. Graham, I know what's trending, but give me the highlights.
Of course. The Chief Justice is trending. We'll discuss that more later, of course. The Health Minister is also trending.
Oh, my God.
After his fiery encounter with the doctor. I think the Health Minister he's catching a lot of it. I think people are not impressed because they feel like it's a bit unfair to the doctor. They know our health services are not good. The health infrastructure is not good. So the doctor was being unfairly targeted. So that seems to be the voice on social media. ECOWAS is trending. I mean, there's an ECOWAS conference that's happening, the 50th anniversary of ECOWAS, and the speeches made. So that's another thing that's trending. And I think Burkina Faso is trending in conjunction with that because it seems like there's an effort, especially by President Mahama and others, to try and hope Burkina Faso, Mali, and I can't remember the last country, Niger, will rejoin ECOWAS and come back into the fold. So a little bit of football. Axel Disasi.
Charlie?
Yeah, he
Doku'd him.
Yeah, he got cooked by Jeremy Doku in the lead up to Man City's winner, and everyone seems to be making fun of the young man. I feel for him. I'm not a big fan of him, but I feel like that's a tough one.
Doku is fast, quick.
Ansu Fati is also trending. I think he was meant to be the next big thing. He played 60 minutes. He's had a lot of injury trouble, so he was the great big hope of Barcelona. He was given the number 10 shirt. I think before Lamine Yamal, he was Lamine Yamal. Everyone thought that he was the guy. But it just hasn't seemed to work out. So, but people were kind of happy to see him back in their team. And he played. He didn't score, but it was good to see him on the pitch. So,
wonderful.
A bit of tech news very quickly. Chinese EV giants BYD. They are going to be...
What EV is?
Electric vehicle, yes. So they are going to reboot their European operations, So I think they are seeing what's happening to Tesla. There seems to be a dip. I think they feel like there's a significant hole in the market they can kind of jump in. So BYD is going to be doing a bit more in Europe going forward.
Second social media trends is Susu Graham. So it's 8:08, still on Citi Breakfast. I'm going to speak to the Deputy AG, Justice Sai, on the very issue we've been discussing since the show began, the President's decision to suspend the Chief Justice while a 5-member committee gets into the substance of the matter. Deputy CJ is on the line. Justice, thanks for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard. Deputy Attorney General, no Deputy.
What did I call you, Deputy CJ? It's an early morning. I've not had my Hausa Koko yet, so I'm a bit confused. I call you Deputy CJ. It's even unconstitutional. There's nothing like that. Forgive me. Deputy AG. I don't think I've interviewed you since you took the post fully, so congratulations.
Yeah, thanks so much, my brother. Thanks so much.
How confident are you that the President is on all fours when it comes to the procedure he's adopted and the decision he took yesterday to suspend the CJ?
Absolute confidence. 100%. The President has followed the letter and the spirit of the Constitution fully, and you can see from the responses that are coming so far that no one has, questioned the compliance with the terms of the Constitution so far. I have taken time to read, the minority statement. I've also taken time to listen to almost everyone from the other side of the divide who has spoken. I've listened to civil society activists. I've listened to governance experts, and not even once have I heard any of them question the compliance with the terms of the Constitution.
Let me give you 3 issues that have come up. Number 1, the pendency of a case in the Supreme Court. Atachan raised that point yesterday, that we are aware that there's a matter that Vincent Isifo has brought to the Supreme Court, which matter will be heard, I believe, on the 6th of May, and that it would have only been fair for the president to have waited for that matter to be dispensed with before proceeding with this stage of the process. What do you say?
Okay, so first of all, there's no law which says that the president, should stop performing a constitutional function. Not just the president. There's no law which says that any public official should stop performing a public duty merely because someone has gone to court or has raised objection to how the duty or whether the duty is performed. So there's no basis for that as far as the Constitution is concerned. And you see, when people make such assertion, what they forget is that when you're a public officer, you are balancing interests. Okay, so if the president says that I will not proceed with what, and I'll wait for a court decision to be made, right? The other side is that there's someone or a group of people who are aggrieved and have adopted a constitutionally required process for a particular outcome. So that is why the law does not, require any person to stop performing a public duty merely because someone is aggrieved. Because every public decision, every public step, every public action that we take, there's someone who will be aggrieved about it. So if based on that person's grievances alone, you can stop performing the public duty, the general jurisprudential understanding is that then it will be injustice to the person who is aggrieved, or it will be injustice to the other person. So that is why they said the duty, as far as public duty is concerned, must continue until when a court makes a definite order that it should stop. In this case, there's no court order for that, for the stopping of the performance of the duty. So, in as much as I understand Mr. Atachan, for saying what he's saying that it should stop, I think there's no basis for that either, at law or.
But is your view consistent in a sense that I remember in the previous administration, for example, when the minority took the e-levy matter to court, Parliament passed the law, a lot of lawyers from your side shouted the president shouldn't sign the bill because the matter is pending. Nonetheless, he signed it. A lot of people said the president acted in contravention of what is a norm. Again, when the EC wanted to do a registration, NDC went to court. While the matter was pending, they continued with the registration. Again, lawyers from your side took issue with this. I could give many, many examples. Even the Domelovo case, his matter was being heard in relation to the president deciding to sack him. The matter had not been finished. The president went ahead to sack him. And all of those times, I don't recall you personally, but definitely lawyers from your side took issue with that. So is there no need for consistency in this, right?
Exactly. Thank you so much for pointing out the inconsistency in Honorable Atachan's position, because in all these situations, I believe he was also an influential member of the NPP, a member of parliament, a minister at the time, very influential legal voice in the country. We didn't also hear him say that the president was doing anything wrong. What we heard him say is that the position of the law is that the president is entitled to continue what he's doing until a court order is made. That is the same position I'm saying. And I believe that he ought to also stick with his position and be on principle, so long as, that is why I say that in matters of this kind, where political interests conflict, what we should look at is what does the law say? And my point is that the law does not give support to what he is saying. It is his desire, personal desire, that is expressing. We respect it, and I personally will respect it and give it all the support that I can. But the truth of the matter is that it has no basis in law.
Fair enough. Second point, which is Kai on my show this morning, made an interesting proposition that the decision of the president, the wording is the president may suspend. That suggests that it is a discretion in terms of the suspension. It's a discretion he's exercising. It's not like he may suspend. Now, he's saying that if you read Article 296, which is titled Exercise of Discretionary Power, it says, where in this constitution or in any other law, discretionary power is vested in any person or authority, he gives the various things, the discretionary power, how it shall be exercised. Now, he says that when that discretionary power is being exercised, and so I'm on C now, where the person or authority is not a judge or other judicial officer, and he is exercising what you consider to be a quasi-judicial function, there shall be published by constitutional instrument or statutory instrument regulations that are not consistent with the provisions of this constitution, so that this judicial power the president is exercising, or quasi-judicial power exercising in suspending the CJ, he believes, based on understanding of 296, that the president ought to have issued a CI backing the decision. What is your view on that?
That is flawed. It's flawed brutally. So let me explain that provision to you. The provision is saying that there are so many, the Constitution is made up of powers. So Constitution distributes power. And power is basically a bundle of discretion. You don't have power if you can't decide whether to go this way or the other way. So in constitutional law, we have what we call ministerial power and we have what we call discretionary power. When your power is ministerial, it means that you have no discretion in the matter. But whenever there is power, there is what? Discretion. So every person in this who is given power in the Constitution has discretion. What that provision is saying is that in as much as we have those discretion and they could be abused, in order not to abuse the discretion, it is prescribed that a law is made to specify the basis for exercising the discretion. So, for example, let's take the police. Police have the power to arrest, right? They can use their discretion to determine whether there's a reasonable suspicion for them to arrest. What the law is saying is that in such situations, there should be provided step-by-step guide to how the discretion is exercised. Now, that is in no way a statement saying that you cannot exercise the power unless the CI exists. Otherwise, then, many of the powers that we exercise in the Constitution cannot be exercised because about 99% of the powers in the Constitution have no CI, CI telling them how to exercise it. Take the Chief Justice, for instance. The Chief Justice has administrative power, and that's different from the power of a judge. She's the administrative head of the judiciary. She has the power to empanel. She has discretion to choose which judge to empanel. She has not offered, no Chief Justice has ever provided any CI for what? Guiding how they exercise that power of empanelment. Take the Speaker of Parliament. The Speaker of Parliament has been exercising discretion on so many issues every day, yet they have never provided any CI. Take the President himself. The President has a discretion to appoint Mr. A or Mr. B out of how many people? Over half of the population are above 21 and are qualified to be ministers. The President has the power to appoint anyone.
No, he's not making reference to all discretionary power. My understanding of what he says is that this is discretionary power being exercised in a quasi-judicial situation. Indeed, he references to a case between Ransford France and the EC where Justice Dateba actually makes that comment. And he says that when that... I'm just reading what you lawyers are saying. So let me just put a question that you can ask. So I'm not saying that... my son, what Sky is saying is not about exercising all discretionary power. He's saying that when your exercise of discretionary power is in a quasi-judicial situation, then you require that. That's what he's saying.
So
yeah,
discretion could be exercised in full judicial manner. It could be exercised in full, ministerial manner. It could be exercised in full, it could be exercised in quasi, manner. The only exception in that provision is when it's judicial, you don't have to provide a CI to regulate it, right? Both in quasi and administrative manner. My point is that everyone is supposed to provide a CI to regulate, and the provision doesn't accept any other officer for me. So that distinction is not on point. The point I'm making, however, is that the failure to provide a CI is not a bar, okay? It's not a bar to what? To exercising the power. That is what I'm saying. And this is the first time that justice of the Superior Court is being suspended, or persons who fall within that category. So the point I'm making is clear, that there is no requirement that the power cannot be exercised unless there is a CI. If that is the case, a lot of the powers that we have in the Constitution cannot be exercised. Because as for me, take the Constitution, search for May, and you see the number of May that you will see in the Constitution, and see if we have CI for each of them. So, some of these arguments are just probably designed to distract, but the truth of the matter is that there is no legal basis for saying that a discretionary power cannot be exercised unless there is a CI. It is not a sine qua non to the exercise of the power. It is desirable, and I agree that it's desirable that we regulate the powers by making CIs, but it does not mean that when the CI is not made, then the power cannot be exercised.
Finally, Professor Kwesi Prempeh, again, somebody you know very well, also made a post. He took aim at the article itself. He says he has at least two problems with Article 146 in its present form. First is the secrecy or lack of transparency concerning the removal petition. He says even if the removal proceeding must be held in camera, he believes at the minimum the findings and outcome of the proceedings, including the grounds and supporting evidence behind the removal, must be made public after the fact. That's the first point he makes. He also criticized the composition of the 5-member committee tasked with investigating removal petitions, especially in cases involving the CJ. He basically says that none of the CJ's peers must be made to sit in judgment on a removal petition involving their judicial colleague or boss, as they are likely to have an interest in the outcome. What are your thoughts on those two critiques of the law that empowers the president to do what he's doing?
Yeah, so I share in some of the concerns. For example, that the privacy of the proceedings. But I'm not sure if the privacy extends beyond post-proceeding. That is, after the proceeding, the decisions and the consideration are not protected by privacy afterwards. And I think the reason why there's a requirement for privacy is that some of the issues that may be raised in the petition, especially where the issues are not founded, could be defamatory. And so the premise of the Constitution were trying to balance the personal, character protection of the accused justice and also the public interest. So what I think the situation is that during the proceedings, and the Constitution is very clear that the proceedings shall be in camera. It doesn't say that after the proceedings, when the decision is made, the public will be denied of the basis for the decision. That would not have been, I don't think that is what the premise of the Constitution intended. And we have seen in other situations where the proceedings have ended, we've seen some of the decisions published. So, for example, in President Akufo-Addo, the one on CJ Tokono in December, I think he wrote a lengthy decision of the proceedings and was published. So the privacy aspect, as far as I understand, is limited to while the proceeding is going on. But after that, the public obviously is entitled to knowing what has transpired, because it is their power that we are all exercising. And for that matter, I think that they are entitled. So I agree with Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh when he says that the public is entitled to know what has happened. I'm not sure of whether the public is entitled to know what is going on or what the allegations are at the time when no decisions have been made, because it's a balancing consequence of interest. The interest of the individual person is accused and his dignity and his character, as well as the public interest to know. Now, the second one you mentioned,
in terms of the composition of the 5-member panel, the fact that they are her peers, they will definitely have an interest in the outcome. So it's also, again, because if I remove you, I'm probably next in line, so I will have an interest in you going, right? So it falls that provision as well.
Yes, I think that is also a legitimate concern that has been raised, but there is also a reason for making that happen. And to be honest with you, if you look at the history of removal of CJs, and there's a long history of that, the peers on the bench have been very supportive of CJs, if you want to look at it from that perspective. Acha had, his peers supported him. I think Aqua the same way. I think Aban too. And so many on all the occasions, the peers have been supportive. So in terms of the fact, in terms of the experience, there's a basis to say that peers on the bench have been very supportive of their CJ. Now, so even that is still a good basis for Professor Kwesi Pempe's point that we shouldn't even be talking about support. We should look at the law and decide on the merit. So what I've said actually supports Professor Pempe's point. However, there's also another aspect which was raised by Uncle Sam Okujetu yesterday. He made a point that the petitioners may not even understand how the judiciary works. They may not understand the processes, and they bring a petition based on what they think to be done. And there's no better person to counterbalance, that view than persons who are also at that level in the judiciary. Because trust me, Ben, as you climb up in this our profession, you discover things every step up until you get to the top. And I believe at the top you discover so many things that will not make sense to you if you're a first-year lawyer or fifth-year lawyer. So I also understand why the framers of the Constitution thought that at least two of the people who are within the same, context will look at it. And in fact, in terms of justice generally, the reason why we have jury trial is that your peers should be part of the people who decide your fate. Because, you see, the people in this legal, cannot be better judges in matters of, let's say, NEMA than the people in NEMA. So that is the basis of jury trial, that the peers should be part of the decision making. So when you look at it from that perspective, I think there is also a good reason for having at least two of a peers to be able to look at the thing from their perspective. And then that is why they have three other people who are neither politicians, that is members of parliament, who are neither just lawyers, and who are neither members of Council of State. Because in these three categories, people see things differently. If you're a member of Council of State, you probably have a certain view, a certain context from which you analyze things. If you are a judge or a lawyer, you have a different worldview from the ordinary person. So the requirement that a lawyer, a member of Council of State or an MP should not be part of it is sound. So I think it's just a way of guiding us so that people who will look at this petition, who will do the investigation, will not have only legal ideas, they will not have only political ideas, they will not have only maybe a particular professional idea, but they will be a people who have come together with different perspectives to have a more comprehensive look at the issues being raised.
All right.
So,
yeah, finally, and I know you have to be in another meeting. The MPP have said a lot of things. I have read portions of their statement earlier where they say this is a judicial coup. Yesterday, John Darko's point was that the president, when he was in Akosombo, speaking to NDC legal professionals in the year before the election, made comments about resetting the judiciary. He also points out interviews made by the chairman of the NDC this past week about the EC boss the CJ will go and the EC boss will go, basically saying that these are all parts of a grand scheme by the government led by the president to remove the CJ. I mean, what's your reaction to this, particularly when public officials in the NDC are making comments about the CJ, and some are even discussing the so-called content, which you and I are not supposed to know, at least from what I've read in the Constitution. I'm told that the whole thing must be held in camera. But the point they are making is that there are people in the NDC who are basically running off with these allegations and basically trying to remove the CJ because politically they don't like her. As a lawyer, as a lawyer now in the NDC, as a deputy attorney general, what's your comments, specifically when we've heard on record some of the NDC officials making these comments about the CJ in public?
Bernard, am I allowed to also talk politics?
Well, why not? Because it's happened. The law is playing out in the political sphere, is it not?
So if I'm allowed to talk politics, then permit me to start talking politics, just as my friend John Darko has done. Now, this is the point.
Oh, but you are the Attorney General. He's not. He was speaking as an MP, so I'm just guiding you. He is a MP speaking.
The the issue you are asking me to respond to, I believe, is very political. And so I don't have a problem speaking politics, but I just want our listeners to know that I am now veering off law to join my friend in politics, which I can do. So if I'm allowed, I may go ahead. But
you feel free. but I'm saying that the fact that a question has been asked, a political question has been asked, does not mean the answer must be political.
No, because as far as the legal answer is concerned, the processes through the Constitution provides, restraints and guides for how things are supposed to be done. And I've indicated earlier that I don't see, so far I've not heard anyone question the compliance of the process to what the Constitution requires. So that satisfies the legal bit. So now let's go to politics. You see, in this country, we've had experiences. We have a long history, okay, even within the judiciary. So our history is not just about the executive and legislature. We've had it in the judiciary. We've had a situation where presidents have, removed justices just because decisions were not in their favor. We've also had judges who have used the office of, justice of the Supreme Court to perpetrate, political agendas. So many experiences like that. So the framers of this constitution combine both and decide that this is a very fair process to follow. Now, if Mr. John Darkun's view is that the process is being abused, there are people who also have views that in the past 8 years, the judiciary has been used to frustrate the governance process. So many experiences, I'm sure you can even detail out some of these accusations. We've heard accusation of the bench being packed with political, persons. We've also heard accusation of even the current Chief Justice has been accused of so many things. For example, the current Chief Justice there was a case that has been before the Supreme Court for 3 years. The Domolevo case was never decided until the man has been sacked. The LGBTQ case has been there, but we also saw that the NPP in Parliament has been able to file a case at 12 noon, got the Supreme Court empaneled within a few minutes, and gave a judgment which is questionable in all standards of legal, measurement. As such, those are all evidence that we have, or people have been pointing to as what the problem with the judiciary. So if he is saying that perhaps he has experience in manipulating the judiciary, or muzzling out the judiciary, that is why he is quick to say that. But I can tell you that President Mahama has been a president before, and the NDC has no tradition of manipulating the judiciary. We have no history of that. Take it from Rawlings. Rawlings was a military leader. Okay, under him, 31st December. 31st December was the basis of the current democracy we have. Is the foundation of the NDC. Yet, when Rawlings was still in power, someone went to court to say that 31st December should not be celebrated. My interest is not just about the reason behind the decision, which I consider questionable. My reason is that even before the court could give a reason, they injuncted the celebration of the 31st December. You know how the 31st December used to be celebrated, a whole military, parade and all. The process was in place. Soldiers were rehearsing. And the injunction was given, I think, the day before. And Rawlings complied. He never changed, altered anything in the Supreme Court. He followed through and obeyed the decision. There are several instances of that. Now let's come to NPP. When President Kufuor came, and in the Chatuchikata instance, okay, when the Supreme Court made a decision that the fast track court was unconstitutional, the then President Kufuor, was outside the country. He said that he will come back to Ghana. When he comes back, he will correct the judgment. When he came back, what did he do? He appointed fresh judges. All of those fresh judges were empaneled to hear the review, and the decision was, and all of them decided that the fast track court was constitutional, contrary to what the earlier court, the ordinary bench decided. That is classic manipulation. And there have been so many instances of that. We remember how Mr. Chikata himself was jailed, and how the Court of Appeal had to nullify the whole sentence. That is just President Kufuor's time. When President Mills came, NDC government, he was a father for all. He left everyone in wherever office they occupied and took his time, because he believed in one thing, that we are all Ghanaians, we have equal access to power, so no one should be sacked because government has changed. President Atamils kept everyone safe for all the time that he was alive. after him, President John Mahama came. He did the same thing. Now, not long, President Akufo-Addo just left office. We have seen how people have been hounded, businesses have been hounded, and all that. And in terms of the judiciary, we have seen how judges have been transferred and all. So we are not, and so between the NPP tradition and our experience under the governance of NPP and what the NDC is offering, it will be far-fetched and unfair for anyone to accuse the NDC of trying to manipulate, a judicial process or the judiciary. But however, we know that we know that the experience of judicial manipulation, we have seen it under both the two NPP governments that we've had. And we are so if Mr. John Dakun's point is that he's being manipulated, he's probably talking from experience. He knows how to do it, so he can see it from wherever he's sitting. But I can assure you that President Mahama, that we know, and we have experienced him before. He has been a president before. Never has he been accused of any situation of manipulating the judiciary. In fact, there was a situation where one of our senior lawyers, I won't mention him, had a conversation with President Mahama, and you'll be shocked to know that President Mahama didn't even know that a president could call a judge on a case that affect the government. He has never done it, and he's not doing it, and he's never going to do it. You understand? So that is is just political, and should not be entertaining when we are having some of these serious conversations.
No problem. Thank you very much, Justice Sai. We wish you well. That was the Deputy AG, not CJ, as I said earlier. Forgive me, Deputy AG, speaking to us. We raised, I think, 4 legal issues: the Atatian issue, the Sky issue, the H. Kwesi Prempeh issue, and then we also raised the issue raised by John Dakun on the political side of things. A couple of quick announcements before we take a break. There's more here. Later on, Tamale Teaching Hospital CEO has been fired, but the Minister of Health is not getting the love that you would think he would get, and Susu will explain what's going on there, and then we'll try and understand Sky's argument a bit better as well, the point around the Article 296. But transform your living room and bedroom into a sanctuary with a stunning selection of sofas, couches, dressers, dining sets, center tables, and a wide range of beds and mattresses and other home soft furnishings. Shop and save up to 30% discount and discover the perfect blend of style, comfort, and affordability at Ashfield's exclusive furniture promotion. Call 0243 200 729 or 0244 642 481. You can also visit some of our showrooms in our major depots: Medina, Taxi Rank, Agoba, Vineyard, Tema Casino, and all Ash Foam shops across the country. Be an Ash Foamer today. Ash Foam, feel it, know it. Don't just watch, feel every moment of passion like a true football fan. From conducting every pass, analyzing every play, and celebrating every goal like it's your own. That's passion felt, lived, and shared. Look out for the MasterCard booth at the Accra Mall Decathlon store on the weekends starting 28th March to 30th April for a chance to win branded MasterCard memorabilia and engage with your favorite stars. Promises to be truly priceless. MasterCard, proud supporters of non-stop fans. We understand the unique journey of women in business, from juggling multiple responsibilities to navigating financial complexities and societal expectations. Your resilience and vision as women inspire us. That's why we've created the She Business account, tailored to empower visionary women leaders like you, with collateral-free loans of up to 2 million cedis, insurance coverage, discounted loan interest rates, and capacity building programs. The She Business account is the banking solution for you. Visit the nearest ABSA branch or call 0302 429 150 for more information. Your story matters, ABSA. And exciting news from the University of Ghana School of Law. We are thrilled to announce that admissions are now open for our master's degree programs designed for individuals with a first degree from any discipline who want a law master's degree. Application is open till 31st May. Classes will be held between Mondays and Fridays, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. You have the chance to benefit from international partnerships with top-tier law schools like Harvard, Columbia, and University of Pennsylvania. For more information, call Vero on 053-1282-413, call Naomi on 053-133-0203, or call Oba on WhatsApp 055-137-1319. And the ABSA Ultimate account isn't just a banking product, it's a chance to have more. Gives you retrenchment insurance cover of up to 50,000 cedis, hospital cashback benefits, access to seamless digital solutions, travel insurance of 1 million cedis, and over 30 benefits or 30 other benefits on the account. If you want more, sign up for an ultimate Absa account today and get more. Your story matters. Absa.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Auntie T, I beg, fix me go betete Ghana. No gari, no oil, no plantain, just beans and eggs.
Hey, brah, that be dangerous combination, no?
Problem no day. I feel handle am.
For Telecel, with the Bob say everybody gets what they like. That be why Made For Me bundles day. Based on your usage, you can get your own data and call packages. Fala! Made For Me bundles like the way you want them. That star 530#, then buy Made For Me bundles today.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
You looking for a bank to rely on? Let me give you a shoulder to lie on. Wouldn't we say to bank be no lie? Only one place where I get my eye on. Make I introduce you all to First Bank, the best services in the world, first rank. Customer service, everything is well planned. I make music, I travel, I sell land. They be my reserve tank. Cause every time I know my money's safe, universal banking ain't in me here on the date. I'm a busy person, me no need time to wait. Now I got to Spain, even when I'm in the States. My me blue shirt, they tell me office a chilling, but who cares? Cause I bank with the best. I'm lucky, I'm too blessed. When it comes to First Bank, it's too west. Everything is you first.
Nobody feed you, I'm like us. Do I'm like us. First Bank we treat you first. Treat you first. Somebody see yeah. Think about you first. Think about you first.
You first. First Bank.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
We've got what you need for your business and family. Whatever you need, you can count and call on us. Omni Basic Bank. Omni Basic Bank is we're all. We are not just another bank. Whatever you need, you can count and call on us. Omni Basic Bank. Omni Basic Bank. Not just another bank.
Hey, dear New Hampshire. And you stay soft concentrate fabric softener. I was such it move. You're sending this say, but you hear my tina watch it. New Hampshire, it's now watch it. No, be a baby, someone some demoni in us say. Dear New Hampshire. For quiet, you seem be association Ontario. Use stay soft and New Hampshire, it's now watch it. Nani boss to tap from cry. A fabric softener. And you near say, sir. Choose to stay soft. No, no, so say, you know. FDIT, a dreading crack to yet.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302 246319 or 0302 246644. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
Polytank is everywhere, durable and authentic. Stronger brand you can trust. Polytank, we get some more Rambo and get some more super. And the Polytank, we did Papa no, Papa no, Papa no, Papa no, Papa no, Papa no, Papa no.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
If you ask me, now who I go ask? No matter where we see, so it's where it starts. No be big or talk, be heavy for mouth. If you ask me, the matter for ground, now who I go ask? If you ask me, now who I go ask? No matter where we see, so it's where it starts. No be me go talk, be heavy for mouth. If you ask me, the matter for ground, now who I go ask?
Time check is 8:38. Still on the Citi Breakfast Show. If you're tired of HR headaches, simplify your business with Hot Jobs Africa as your one-stop HR shop. We handle recruitment, labor outsourcing, expatriate management, consultancy services, and corporate training. We also offer staff busing and 100% staff support to boost productivity. Don't let HR hassles hold you back. Contact Hot Jobs Africa today. Call 0303-980-362 or WhatsApp 0204-336-004. Email info@hotjobsafrica.org. Hot Jobs Africa. Think HR, think Hot Jobs Africa. And Accra, get ready. FVV Foods is proud to announce on the grand opening of our wholesale outlet, Nexa Foods, right here in Kwabenya Community Market. From April 18 to Thursday, April 25, come enjoy our special sales promotion on all your favorite fresh, locally produced products. We've got FVV chicken in your favorite cuts, including breast, thigh, wings, back, and famous mixed box with all the parts. We've also stocked up FVV jasmine rice in 1 kg, 5 kg, and 10 kg, and 25 kg bags. Clean, aromatic, and proudly made in Ghana. We also have farm fresh crates of eggs to complete your shopping. We're open daily from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Find us at Kwabenya, just by the community market. Call 0541 187 932. Nexa Foods, fresh, local, affordable. Powered by FVV Foods, a taste of home. Alright, so I know a lot of people are like, Charlie, legal things are a lot. Let me just wrap up the CJ matter before I move to something else. I got a very interesting text message this morning where a listener says, Bernard, I know the CJ's issues are important, but please spend some time to talk about the doom saw, which is in full swing. Every 2 days I go off and finally got confirmation from an engineer that it is on. The impact is more serious on our daily lives. I won't mention this person's name for security reasons, but he claims doom saw is back. We'll deal with that. Sky, so you are saying what? That you believe that this issue of the suspension of the CJ ought to have been backed with a CI. Now, a CI takes 21 days to mature. So that means that this process of, I'm following just law, if this process of the 5-member committee even sitting, if the president believes that he doesn't want the CJ to be fully working while they are working, he needed to have then triggered a 21-day CI. Parliament is not in session. Just practically speaking, that's going to be too difficult, wouldn't it?
To respond to your very brilliant question, let me refer you to the case of Tufo versus the Attorney General. And in that locus classicus, as the lawyers call it, the court clearly stated the true position of the law. That no person can make lawful what the Constitution says is unlawful. I'm quoting. No person can make unlawful what the Constitution says is lawful. The conduct must conform to due process of law as laid down in the fundamental law of the land, or it is unlawful and invalid. Unquote. Now, the question you are asking suggests that we are in a hurry to sack the Chief Justice of the Republic. No. The position of Chief Justice is the creation of the Constitution. And the position of President is equally a creation of the Constitution. Position of Speaker is a creation of the Constitution. There are processes that elevate people to those offices. And they are written down in the law. And equally, in appropriate cases, the laws provide that there are processes you must go through in order to remove them from office. What is the issue here? A group of people have petitioned the president to remove the Chief Justice from office for a number of reasons. I will not discuss them here because the Constitution says they should stay private.
Okay.
The president, under Article 146 of the Constitution, is enjoined upon receipt of the petition to make a determination of prima facie case in consultation with the Council of State.
Okay.
Now, prima facie means on the face of the petition, can one reasonable person come to the conclusion, or can a reasonable president come to the conclusion that there is a case to be answered?
Okay.
You have written all kinds of allegations against me. Looking at it, looking at it as president, can he say that, I have a case to answer? And he does that in consultation with the Council of State. Now, the courts have clarified the position to say that in those cases, when it affects the Chief Justice, there has got to be that determination. And we have gone on to take the position that in making that determination, you need to invite the input of the Chief Justice. Right? He responds to it.
Response.
Yeah, that's right. And then a determination is made. When that determination is made that this petition establishes a prima facie case based on your response and some other considerations, a committee shall be established, right, to investigate the matter, to now go into the meat of the allegations, because there is a case to be answered. Now, when that committee is to start work, or even has started work, the president may, right, under Article 146(10) of the Constitution, suspend the Chief Justice. Now, that is where the discretionary...
This is the contention.
Exactly.
The bonus. So far, you don't have any quarrel what has happened so far. The main quarrel is the issue of the exercise of the discretion of suspending her while the matter is fully investigated.
Exactly. And Bernard, my position is grounded in both the Constitution and then also clarifications provided by the courts in a number of cases. Now, if you look at interpretations that have been offered to the word may, substantially, of course, there are sometimes controversial interpretations that create problems. But where the word may is used, it is not an imposition of an obligation.
All right.
It is to give you an opening to decide one way or the other how you go. The president was not under obligation to suspend the Chief Justice. He has the room to do so, but he was not under an obligation to do so. He elected to do so. Now, let me take you to the provisions of Article 296 of the Constitution, which will tell you why I fundamentally disagree, respectfully, with the Deputy Attorney General. Now, if you go to Article 296 of the Constitution, the language of the provision is particularly clear.
296.
Article 296 of the Constitution. And if I may, let me just quote the provision.
I think there are three sub-top. I think it was A, B, C or something.
Yeah, let me just quote.
Yeah. So we are trying to. This is money money of law. We are dealing with three issues. I think the first two. I think all three. The CJ, the AG, Deputy AG responded to them, but Sky is in the studio, so he wants to put some meat to his proposal.
So the provision says under 296 that the Constitution. So basically says where in this Constitution, and I'm quoting now, or in any other law. Discretionary power is vested in any person or authority. A, that discretionary power shall be deemed to imply a duty to be fair and candid. So there's an imposition there. You have to be fair and candid. B, the exercise of the discretionary power shall not be arbitrary, capricious, or biased. Going on to talk about other things. And shall be in accordance with due process of law. Due process means that you must follow all the tenets of the rule of law as established. And then finally, there's a crucial point. 296 says that what? C, where the person or authority is not a judge or other judicial officer, there shall be published by constitutional instrument, a statutory instrument, regulations. It goes on to talk about other things to govern the exercise of that discretionary power. Now, this provision until the Rand for France case, which I spoke to you about.
And what year was that, by the way?
This must have been in 2012, thereabout. People have had all kinds of views on it. Of course, a previous Supreme Court sort of made pronouncements on it. If you read the Rand for France case and you read the Captain case, the courts have taken a position as to how judiciary, discretionary power should be exercised. Now, in the Ransford France case, the court clarified the scope of the use of discretionary power to say that when you are exercising the authority in a setting that is not quasi-judicial, you need no publication of constitutional instrument or statutory.
So, for example, when the EC does something which is considered administrative, and it's exercising judicial power, they may not need to. Yeah, because it was more like an administrative decision they took. So they were not taking a judicial decision, a judicial decision.
So in that particular setting, this electoral commission is not a judicial authority. So the exception there should be taken care of by reason of the provisions of the Constitution. That Bernard, the EC is not sitting as a judge, but the EC, if he takes a decision within a certain setting, which is questionable, the right place to go is to a court of law to question it, right? When the guy felt that there was a problem with the decision that they took, he went to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said that, look, we need to clarify the scope of this provision, because if we don't do it, Bernard takes a decision because he enjoys his constitutional authority, I will challenge it. Muhammad takes a decision, I will challenge it. Tusu takes a decision, I will challenge it. But that will create what is known in law as the floodgate problem. So let's not go there. Once the decision is taken in a quasi-judicial function, in other words, are you taking a decision that would affect somebody's rights? Are you removing somebody from a certain public office? Does it require a certain form of trial, as we are seeing in the Chief Justice's case? Petition is filed. She's invited to make an input. A panel is sitting to look into what the charges that have been made against her. And a decision will be made, one way or the other, whether she is guilty, and I'm using the word guilty advisedly, of the claims that have been made against her. And there will be consequences flowing from that. Now, when that setting is firmly established, and it is likely that it would impact adversarially the rights of the person accused, then you are acting in a quasi-judicial function. Because in this case, you are not a court of law. You are not a judge. But you are making decisions that are capable of affecting the rights of a person.
I hear you. But my point to you is that a lot of the things that he is enjoined to do, the word he used is shall. It is only the issue of the suspension that they use may. So what I'm trying to say is that the overall procedure that the president has adopted, so first forward it to Council of State, they come back, primary facie establish, form a committee, all of those things are clearly stated that he should do. So those are not discretionary. The only place that leaves room for discretion is the suspension. And my point is that wouldn't it be absurd that the overall meat of the process, there's clarity on what you should do, and only a small part, whether she should stay in office while the process is going on or not, becomes the subject of a CI just because that part is discretionary. Do you follow me? Why would you make the overall procedure surrounding the petition, its receipt, its forwarding, you make all of that, use the word shall, and then you leave discretion for only the point around her suspension. And then you're saying that based on these judgments and the exercise of discretionary power in the judicial sense. Therefore,
quasi-judicial.
Yeah, but my point is that it will be. It, you understand? Why didn't the, because if I'm going to put a CI up for, then the CI must cover the whole process. But his exercise judicial power in only one small bit of the whole process.
Bernard, so you have made a brilliant point. The Constitution is basically the skeleton of the whole democratic experiment that we are currently enjoying. Many other laws come to add meat to it. Those laws include laws passed by Parliament, regulations that are issued, constitutional instruments, the common law as we know it, and then also customary law as we practice it in this country. All of these things come together to give effect to the meaning of the Constitution. So the framers could not possibly have written everything in the Constitution. That is why when the issue came up, whether it was proper under Kufuor to even proceed against the Chief Justice in the first place. My good friend, Frank Ejechum, who was my editor at the time at the Statesman, went to the Supreme Court to challenge the processes that were being used in that particular instance. And the Supreme Court clarified how the state can proceed against a Chief Justice when a petition is filed, and said that, yes, there still has to be a determination of a prima facie case, although the framers of the Constitution do not expressly provide for it in the Constitution. So we have developed a system of governance that allows the courts to add their own understanding.
I get that.
To the words of the Constitution in order to give effect to what the Constitution says we must do. So in that particular case, if you go back to the question you asked, you are asking, why didn't the framers write, in essence, that, you need to do all of these things before you remove the person from office? And that, okay, in the case of providing a CI
they gave him a clear, the 146 tells him, they saw that it's an order, what you have to do. Then they leave a small space for discretion.
That's why they
in a matter of suspension.
That is where you go now to 296. Because a very heartless president can find a group of people to file a petition against maybe Bernard Avle, the Chief Justice. You have not done anything wrong. In the darkness of their dealings with the Council of State, they make a determination that, Bernard, you have done something wrong. Then the president comes out with notice that, we have suspended Bernard Avle from the position of Chief Justice because the president wants to use the office of Chief Justice to achieve a particular end.
Not to hold me, but you see, this is my issue. There are more substantive issues in terms of the issue of what the 5 people will sit on is a substantive matter.
Yes.
Because that's what will determine the fate of the CJ eventually.
Yes. But
is the suspension a substantive matter?
It is a substantive matter.
Why?
Because in that case, you see, the Chief Justice occupies the position to perform certain administrative and judicial functions.
But if she's being, again, let's just use common sense. If somebody is being I won't use the word investigated, that's a big word. If there's a hearing,
I think investigated works
around the person, so I'm the MD of the company, and then the board decides that they are going to investigate the way I treat Susu and Ju Duncan and co. Can I remain as GM? So Samens is the MD, he's the CEO, and I'm the GM. So they say I've been harassing my producers, speaking to them by heart. So they file a petition to the MD. Then they say that they are going to have a committee headed by Richie Sky and Clement Takapam to investigate me. Can I still act as GM whilst I'm investigating for the way I treat these people? From a common, I'm not a lawyer, but it seems fair to say, Ben, step aside while you are being investigated. If the investigation is over and it is proved that you didn't do anything wrong, you come back. But as GM, if for example, I'm GM, I have to determine his production work. Then you call him to a committee and say, okay, Susu, you people say Ben has been mistreated. You come and tell us what he does. Then they call Godfred, come and tell us what he does. As GM, I'm sitting here. It will affect it. So the point is that the issue of maybe the question is, if the person is in position, will their being in position not affect the sanctity of the process? Bernard, which is why it's a suspension.
Bernard, so you see that the framers of the Constitution in their wisdom said may. right?
Yes.
Which is to say that
you determine it based on what you see.
On the basis of the surrounding facts.
That's what I'm saying.
Which is to say, hold on, let me clarify.
Yes.
Which is to say that there may be instances where investigating the Chief Justice will not require the removal in the interim
Fair enough.
of the Chief Justice or suspension of the Chief Justice in order for investigations to go on fairly. But there are instances where, looking at the surrounding gamut of facts, it would be in the interest of justice and due process
for the person to step
aside.
So
aside.
how do we determine that? That's the discretion. Now your point is that discretion must be exercised around a certain CI, and I'm saying, okay, what must that CI contain?
So for instance, you and I sitting here, the Constitution basically says the Chief Justice may be removed where there's stated misconduct or incompetence, or there's one other, what do you call it?
Gross misbehavior or something.
Incompetence, misconduct, and then incapacity to perform the duties of the office. What constitutes stated misconduct? You and I sitting here, do we know?
No, unless you use decided cases in the
you
courts.
See the Chief Justice in, say, what do you call it?
A beer bar.
Touchwood.
10 million.
That's right.
No, she wouldn't. No, we are just making a point.
We are making this argument, right? Is that stated misconduct?
We don't know.
If the Chief Justice is in love with...
but Sky, hold on. The stated misconduct, I'm sure the courts know what it means. And I'm also sure that there are precedents that will tell us what that is. So are you saying that there must be a CI... Hold on. Are you saying that there must be a generic CI to have explained what that stated misconduct is?
So you see, the Constitution itself, if you look at the provisions on fair trial, make it clear that before you take up an issue against a person to prosecute the person for particular conduct, right? That conduct must have been defined in law. In express terms.
And you are saying that stated
and the elements clearly stated.
All right.
And then the punishment for it
also clear.
Is provided for. So that is what in law we call certainty of the law. We know before you are going to do that conduct that, this thing, if you do it, A, B, C, D will happen to you. So that the Chief Justice, once she gets into office, knows that, hey, I'm not supposed to take my daughter on A, B, C, D. I'm not supposed to do A, B, C, D. Because once you do that, you open yourself to A, B, C, D.
So there has to be clarity.
So that clarity...
Yes, I agree with you, but I'm saying that, you see, my only disagreement with you is the point around where that clarity should come from and whether it should come through the means of a CI. Because you see, Chris Member has also said what you are saying, that the whole thing is, he questions 146. Everybody agrees. You are saying 146 has an issue. Chris Member says, so even the AG agrees. The problem though is the entry point you are using. Because see, when you use the CI, what will the CI state?
That's what I'm saying.
But you see, that CI, don't forget that we are told that the offenses and the whole process must also be done in camera. So don't forget that in camera also requires a certain level of privacy. So if you are going to stay, are you going to do a CI? How are you going to do the CI to justify your decision to suspend without dealing with the I'm coming. Let me ask my question. How are you going to do a CI to justify your decision to suspend the CJ without dealing with the specifics of her offense?
No, you see, so the CI is not to deal specifically with the particular offense that...
So what would the CI say?
What it would say in essence is that these are the categories of offenses if you commit as Chief Justice and we are investigating you, you may be suspended. Category B.
Fair enough.
These are the offenses where if you commit them, even though you are being investigated, you will not be what do you call it, suspended. Do you understand the point?
So that then means that still, but what that does is that you are basically, you see, you are saying that there are categories of punishment that will say you could be suspended and we will not be suspended.
Exactly.
You cannot do that if you don't let people know what her offense is.
No,
how does she fall in category A and not category
B? Ben, I also have a question. Why is the suspension so important? I just want to understand, because the way I'm seeing it, they have this petition. They've looked to the petition. They are saying that, okay, we're investigating it. There's a committee to see whether she's broken the rules and they eventually move it. I feel like we are arguing over something that
so small.
It seems very minor in the grand
scheme of things. That's what I also thought.
So that's what I'm asking. What's so important about the suspension?
You see,
I'm not. No, you see, I'm not, and I know you are going. I don't, and I'm asking as a. I don't want to hear that why is the suspension so important? I don't.
Maybe it's symbolic.
Yeah, I want to understand that part.
The position of Chief Justice is at par, right, constitutionally, with the other heads of other organs of state.
Okay.
Right? what it means is that these are co-equal arms of government. One arm should not, on its own whims, say that, oh, the head of the other one, I'm removing the person from office. That's why the framers provided that there is a procedure to follow if you want to proceed against the head of a particular arm of government. So in the case of the Speaker, for instance, you need the vote of 3/4 of MPs saying that we are removing the Speaker from office.
But you do agree that generally the provision for Speaker and President and Vice are much stronger and defend more than the CJ. So again, that's the fault of the Constitution. So that's again not anybody's fault here.
I agree with you, and I made that point.
Generally, is the so the whole thing goes back to the 146.
Yeah, but you see, that is why I reference you to the question of procedural safeguards.
Yeah.
When they say safeguards, it is to guard against the likelihood of someone acting.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that if the whole process, you see, there are two questions I've asked which I have not received an answer for.
I don't think
the substantive process.
Yes.
Is all you shall do this. The only thing that they say you may do is the suspension.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm saying that it will be very difficult to have a CI around only that small issue of suspension.
So you are not getting my point then. I'm saying that. So ideally, it is not Mahama necessarily who ought to have done that.
Who should have done the CI?
What it means is that we had used this provision before to remove, Charlotte to say from office. The Shrag boss was also used, this very provision, not the exact words, was also used to remove, what's her name? Vivian Lamte from office. I am saying that in all of those instances, I don't know if Charlotte Osei was suspended, but she was removed.
Yeah, but I think
Vivian Lamte was suspended. My argument is that previous presidents ought to have done that, which is to set out clearly. The Constitution says that.
So it's not, I get you now. So the CI is not necessarily in relation to this case.
No.
It's a broad detail of certainty around what types of offenses require suspension.
Exactly.
Okay, but you see, but you are raising it. This is the problem with all this. You are raising it at the time. You see, I'm coming. Forgive me. I now get you. So your point is that if that CI were there, we will not be in doubt as of now whether she should be suspended or not.
Exactly.
Because it would have been clear to us that because this accusation falls in this category, she should be suspended and it's not. Good. But then who should have done it?
So you see, office of president.
So if he can also say that since I came as a president, people have been suspended and no CI has been issued. So why are you not asking me to do it?
You see,
Do you understand my point?
Unlawful conduct.
Yes.
Or unconstitutional conduct, no matter the number of times it may have been, repeated.
Yeah, but why do you consider it unlawful? It's been there, nobody has questioned it. And how does it become unlawful now?
No, hold on. You see,
that's the problem.
You see, so when the Supreme Court makes a pronouncement today, that this ought to have been done, what it means is that has always
why
been
didn't the Supreme Court specifically say that in the matter of exercising discretion in these suspension hearings, there has to be a CI? They didn't specifically
say that. No, you see, courts.
Do you get my point?
Hold on. Courts determine what is before them.
But they can also go beyond that and make.
No.
Don't they also do? There are cases that can be brought. They can decide that Susu is guilty, but because what Susu did, we are also going to say that from hence these things should happen.
I'll be very Sky, I'll be very honest. I understand what you are saying. It's important, but I also feel like right now where there's nothing, what do you want the president to do? So
it's already been there.
Because at the same time, are we saying that if she should have been suspended and he doesn't suspend, are we going to come back and say why didn't he suspend it? Because at the end of the day, we're at the same point.
No, you see, the reason the framers inserted that into the Constitution is to avoid whimsical conduct. Because sitting here, do you know why she was suspended?
I don't.
You don't?
Yeah. But okay, do you know how the committee has been set up?
Because the president tells us.
No, the committee has been set up because the law tells him to set it up.
No, you see
that's not what the committee said. Once a primary facie has been established, the committee says the law says set up a committee. So we are not questioning that.
Okay, so again, what constitutes a determination of a prima facie case, and how should that be done?
We all don't know.
So you see,
and whose fault is that? It's the fault of you who went to write the law. Is it my fault?
No, it is the fault of the presidency.
Which presidency?
The presidency, not as in John Dramani Mahama.
Which of the presidencies?
The presidency of the Republic of Ghana.
Since when?
since 1992, when we established this constitution,
they should have come up with a CI to explain these things.
Exactly, Bernard. It is.
So why didn't you people say it until today? That's the question now.
No, when you say,
as in people, those who you found this legal discovery of this CI, whatever you're saying. There, and as you yourself have told me, there have been at least 2 instances where this has either been used or not been used.
That's right.
Why didn't anybody ever raise this point?
You see, this is a big document, right? When you internalize it, you don't internalize everything, right? You read and find loopholes as and when perhaps a particular issue comes up.
All right.
As of the time that Charlotte Osei was suspended, I was not even in this country. I was somewhere studying law, right?
I'm not even talking about you.
No.
I'm legal people who come in when.
Hold on.
I want to give the lay person.
This is why I can't be a lawyer.
Hold on. You see, Bernard,
you've written your own law now. You guys are
Bernard,
here.
but you see, my education is what tells me that there are certain requirements that the president ought to have met. And in my piece yesterday, I said that previous presidents may not have done what exactly I'm talking about. Now, that doesn't absolve the president of the republic now from doing it, because we are not in a hurry to remove the Chief Justice.
We are in a hurry for justice to be done.
Exactly.
So he does. There's no.
So you see, if Parliament is on recess,
fair enough. I mean, that's the same point they make about the case for May 6th. That you see, there's no haste. If you believe you've triggered a process and there's a court case to be heard, you can let the May 6th come, let them finish and proceed.
Yes.
Yeah, but for me, I can also say that look, once this has been the procedure has been used, and it has never become an issue of suspension until today.
I just told you that.
Yes.
Unlawful conduct.
You are saying it's unlawful.
In which it may have been.
Not everybody agrees with that it's unlawful. You are the one saying it's unlawful based on your understanding of the law. And I can give you that. Okay. I'll give you that.
Any fair-minded person reading the Constitution as I have read to you, and explaining the various judicial decisions that have been made to clarify the scope of the authority I've cited, would come to a reasonable conclusion that there ought to have been published prior to that determination.
Can I respond?
I want to move on.
I have heard it. I want to do something quick. I want to talk for the lay people. You know, you've done a lot of law today.
I'm a layman.
So we'll just say, we, the citizens, our own is very simple. Yes. We want to know if the Chief Justice is being removed. We deserve to know why, and we deserve to know what she did. Exactly. And we also want the standard to be held to every politician. So if you are telling us that she stole 100,000 CDs or whatever, hypothetically, I'm just giving an example. Everyone who stole 100,000 has to be sacked.
Which is why Kwesi Prempeh is saying that the 146 and the way it is manifested, we need more transparency. We need more information. And that's why, from a public policy, good governance perspective, I think it's fair for people to understand. I can also understand why the Constitution decided not to publicize the accusations, because as Sky says, frivolity can creep in. Sky, somebody may dislike Bernard, he's CJ, so let me go and accuse him of doing something, and then they tarnish their image. So for everything that the law puts there, even though we of today may say we want to know, we need to understand why the Constitution may say that it shouldn't be put out. Because you see, I read something recently that for anything that is there that you came to meet, there must be a very good reason for you to say, I'm going to remove it. It's something I read on somewhere, that if you come and meet something that's been there for 100 years, you don't get up and say, I'm removing it.
100%.
So what I'm saying is that the people who framed the Constitution also contemplated mischief.
Yes.
And the respect for the position, which is why they want things to be held in camera. I think your point about a CI is fair, that there should have been a CI to make this clear for all of us, which have held the transparency of the process. The issue is, though, that because of the way this has been politicized, any sort of criticism of the process is seen one way, and any endorsement of the process is seen another way, which is the point I was making with the AG. So
that is where insularity comes in. People can be narrow-minded to the extent of how far they can see when it comes to their political interest.
But we have to move on.
But you see, when the true position of the law is stated and reference is made to that, unless
when you have a superior legal argument and you make it. So if I'm saying that if you make it, you've made a legal argument, somebody should take you on their understanding of what you have read, not on politics. That's what I'm saying. So a fair response would be, I also, having read 296 and 146 in conjunction with other judgments, I think otherwise. That is the way we progress society. Not to say that, well, why didn't you say it in 2020? Why are you saying it in 2024?
That is very
so for me, I'll say that let's leave it here. You've made a legal point. Let's see how the lawyers play with it. There are a lot more angles to this.
No, there are two things I want to add quickly. There are two things I want to add.
No more laws, Sky.
There are two things I want to add.
Make it short.
The first one is my view that the provision that we are talking about has got to be reviewed.
Yes, the
I take on board what Professor has said.
Yes,
but I think that we should tighten the provision as to make it difficult for any president to get up and say, I'm removing the Chief Justice. How do we do that? In Nigeria, a president can't just get up and say, I'm removing a Chief Justice. There's a requirement that there's a vote taking in their parliament. A special majority vote is required to be able to give effect to that.
Fair enough.
In the US, similar provisions exist. You go to India, similar provisions exist.
Okay.
In Ghana, when you want to remove the Chief Justice, all it takes is a petition and subsequent things follow. When it comes to the speaker, as I stated earlier, you require 3/4 of MPs voting to support that. The president, you require 2/3. My submission, respectfully, is that as we are looking at reviewing the Constitution, we should equally tighten the provision 146 so that in the case of the Chief Justice, we get a provision that says that you need at least 3/4 of MPs voting to back it. As to tighten,
I get you, because usually the presidency and the speakership are better protected by the Constitution than the Chief Justice. That is very clear from everything we've read. And again, this past few weeks have taught us that 146 needs some work. Luckily, the man who chairs the Constitution Review Committee also seems to think that the 146 needs some work. So hopefully, when I think you can make a submission to the Constitution Review Committee, I think respectfully you should, in relation to some of these things that they will consider, because this is the best time to do it. And if I don't know, I think they are doing public hearings. You should be able to make a submission to Kwesi Prempeh's group and say you believe that this and that should be done, so that our legal jurisprudence is better protected.
The final point that I want to make, Bernard, if I may, has to do with this whole argument about whether the president should have stayed his hands or otherwise. My position
stay his hands on what?
On whether to proceed with the process until after the determination is made. No, please, if you would indulge me. It is important that we expose the duplicity of politicians of both sides on this particular matter. I sat in this studio and I told you, when a number of cases came up, that in appropriate cases, institutions must learn to respect what will become the potential outcome of a decision or a litigation in court. Which is to say that when a case is in court, and you know as president that whatever decision you take is likely to be impacted one way or the other by a decision of a court of law, out of respect for the court of the country, you should at least wait and see the outcome. You are entitled to put pressure on the judiciary by saying publicly that you think that this matter should be given the needed urgency. All of us are entitled to put pressure on the judiciary to act with haste, but ensuring that justice is done, so that at the end of the day we are all clear in our minds that, oh, the court has said this, so this should guide the process. Now, what has the president done? While a matter of this serious nature is before the Supreme Court, the president has acted. The very thing he has done is in line with what he believes is the true position of the law. But some people are questioning that in the court of law. So a dutiful president, in my respectful view, would have said that, look, let me wait and abide the decision of the court on this matter. In previous administrations, for instance, in the E-Levy case, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo decided to proceed even where the matter was pending in court, right? The minority then took issue with him. They criticized him for acting unconstitutionally, for disrespecting the court.
Why is it that today, right, similar instances have arisen? The president has acted while a matter like this is before court, and everybody, people in the government today are saying that, oh, it is okay. It was wrong yesterday, and I made that point when the LGBTQ matter came out.
The counterfactual is what the deputy AG also said, because the same people who, and I'm not talking about you, but the same people who also supported the former president for what he did in the E-Levy case or in the EC case are now the ones shouting and saying the president should have waited.
And that is
so
the duplicity.
So basically, the political people they don't
that
have
is the duplicity.
They basically they take positions on the basis of whose oxes go there.
So on both sides, there is duplicity and hypocrisy, and we have to expose that. It happened under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's presidency. It was wrong to have proceeded with the E-Levy without waiting for the outcome of the case. Equally, under John Dramani Mahama, it is gross disrespect to the court to act without waiting for the court to act.
At the risk of overstretching this, I thought that the matter that the person had taken to court had been dealt with, because the guy said the CJ must be given a chance to respond, or she must be made to know what the accusation is. And we are told that the president sent her a copy and she responded. So some people believe that the matter is moot.
So you and I don't know the full length of the frog before the Supreme Court.
Oh, but the matter, what do you mean? We know what the case is.
We know what the case is about, but we do not know the full gamut of arguments and the issues being litigated. We do know that there's a broad element that says that, the processes are problematic. So once the process is called into question,
but hasn't that been cured by the fact that the woman was the letter was written?
That may well just have been one element of the issues he's litigating. There may well have been other issues. So he's calling into question the entire process. So what I'm saying is that a dutiful, a responsible president ought to have stayed his hands out of respect to the court and wait until the matter is settled.
I will read a few reactions from some legal people to your view. I think it's only fair.
That's okay.
And then we will make progress. I will read two. Okay, this is a lawyer. He says, Ben, as a constitutional legislation set by a constitutional body, the presidency is an executive and may at best have an EI. I agree with him that the whole process must be guided by some rules. But I think an EI is better than a CI. I don't understand why he's using CI. My reading of the law hasn't gotten there. Okay, these are sort of thoughts he's sharing in different posts. There's another longer substantive one. This is long. Bernard, I think this guy is misreading the decision in Ransford France versus Electoral Commission on the issue of a regulation or the instrument for people exercising a discretion. This is what Dateba said. He quotes the whole thing. Although the learned Chief Justice Akufo-Addo suggests in his judgment that the obligation of the 1969 Constitution's equivalent of Article 296C is also to apply to situations where a power of legislation is delegated to a public official or body, this is difficult to justify in light of the considerations already sketched out above. Accordingly, since the discretion that has been exercised by the Electoral Commission is not quasi-judicial, the obligation imposed by Article 296C should not apply to it. As Akufo-Addo CJ said in Captain regarding ministers complying with the equivalent of Article 296C of the 92 Constitution in relation to the exercise of their discretionary powers, quote, the government could hardly govern if this were so. This sagacious comment applies with equal force in relation to the first defendant in this case. The Electoral Commission could hardly perform its functions if prior to each time it exercises a discretion, it has to promulgate regulations containing the principles governing the exercise of that discretion. The framers of the Article 296C of the 92 Constitution could not have intended such absurdity. Then he goes on. The president's suspension of the Chief Justice is not a quasi... This is not the person's view. The president's suspension of the chief, and please, when I finish, don't react. I'm reading his view. You've said your view. Don't respond. Otherwise, we won't close the show. So let's listen to me. Let's re-listen to it. This is the lawyer's view. The president's suspension of the CJ is not a quasi-judicial act. It is purely ministerial and does not support the interpretation Sky is proposing. In this context, the president is acting based on a constitutional provision that specifically instructs him to issue a warrant, not a constitutional instrument. A CI by law must be laid before Parliament for 21 sitting days before it can mature into law and take effect. Clearly, this process is too lengthy for the circumstances at hand. The Constitution does not require or even mention a CI in this context. Article 146 of the Constitution explicitly states, which is the main issue, where a petition has been referred to a committee under this article, the President may in the case of the Chief Justice, acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State, by warrant, signed by him, suspend the Chief Justice. It does not say by constitutional instrument. The Constitution is clear. The appropriate tool is a warrant, not a CI. Then he goes on to say many other things. It's okay.
Forgive me, just 30 seconds. You see, I understand what the president
that's his view. We have two different views. Let's move on.
Reading it without regard to 296 and the true words expressed.
No. You are just having two different interpretations. Why do you want to? Somebody has said this thing. Why are you trying to tell me? Everybody has his view. Why should the views be the same? What's your problem?
The law is too much. It's too much.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Get ready to shop at the Ophir Market, your ultimate destination for the freshest, locally sourced farm goodies is here. All thanks to the vision of Honorable Samia Wuku, MP for Akuapem North. Join us for the thrilling second edition of the Ophir Market at the Amanokrom Community Park, right in the heart of the Akuapem North constituency, up the mountain. Mark your calendars for April 26, 2025 from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Dive into a world of fresh produce and unbeatable prices. We can't wait to welcome you. Come ready to stock up.
Unbelievable is yours to own with DSTV. Get unbelievable local entertainment with Shakai Lemba, Nigerian Idol, and Big Brother Niger.
Unforgettable night.
Catch unbelievable sporting moments from the Premier League, La Liga, F1, and more.
Absolutely sensational.
Laugh along with unbelievable kids' edutainment like Paw Patrol. And experience unbelievable international shows like Law & Order and Lioness Special Ops.
Let's go!
Download the My DSTV app today and own the unbelievable.
Hi, Mom, it's me, Kwame.
Hey, Kwame. How are you?
Mom, I'm fine, oh.
Okay.
You know something?
No, tell me.
I'm looking for a complete furniture set for my new place.
Kwame, I've told you before, the only one place you should go, eh?
Yeah, Mom, but I need a mattress to fit my bed.
Ash Foam.
I need a bed to fit my room.
Ash Foam.
What about a sofa where go relax my body?
Ash Foam.
Wardrobes to fit all my clothes?
Ash Foam.
What about linens and pillows for sweet dreams?
Kwame. Ash Foam.
Mommy, I feel you. Ash Foam all the way.
For mattresses to beds, sofas, wardrobes, linens, pillows, and more. Don't waste time and visit any Ash Foam showroom across the country or call our hotline at 0243 200 729. Ash Foam. Feel it, know it.
Mom, please can I have some milk in my Milo?
Have you tasted it?
No, but I didn't see you add milk.
Hey, taste it before you ask me any questions.
Hey, milk na chumu say.
This is Milo all in one. Milo Pampa, cocoa, malt, milk and show, everything is inside.
Milo All-in-One already comes with more milk. Just mix with water and taste the nourishing goodness of quality cocoa, malt, and more milk all in one sachet. Milo, the energy to go further.
This advert is FDA approved.
Charlie, where are you?
Boss man, I'm at the bank.
Really? But your car is in front of your house.
Bro, my bank on my phone, Charlie.
Oh, how?
EcoBank, bro. With EcoBank mobile app, I can do everything, anywhere, anytime. Listen, I just checked my account balance, paid Ahmed's school fees, and sent money to my grandma at Walwale.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Masa, just download the EcoBank mobile app from the Google Play Store or the App Store, or dial *770# and be your own bank manager.
Manager.
Whether to pay bills or fees, to check account statements, send money across Ghana, abroad, and more, EcoBank mobile app has got it covered. EcoBank Mobile, making everyday people live everyday lives the EcoBank way. EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
It's heydays at the Junction Mall, and it's bigger, better, unmissable. From now until May 4th, the Junction Mall is a place to be for everything, from the hottest gadgets and appliances to fashion, food, and fun, all at up to 70% off. Shop and win amazing prizes. There'll be cultural displays, live band performances, Junction aerobics for the fit and fun, and kids paradise with face painting, boat rides, bumper cars, and so much more. Bring the family, grab your squad, and do not miss a single moment. It's not just shopping, it's heydays at the Junction Mall, and it's bigger and better than ever before. Follow us at the Junction Mall GH on Facebook and Instagram, or WhatsApp us on 0540-221-774 for more details. The Junction Mall. Join, explore, shop, enjoy.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Always talking about what he wants and just sits on his broke ass. So, no,
28 minutes past 9, 97.3 City FM. In studio, I have friends from the Ghana Climate Innovation Center, which I believe was hosted at Ashesi University. I don't know if it's still there. Who are they at GCIC? What do they do to foster entrepreneurship and climate innovative entrepreneurship, basically? Now, I have Joel Asante Bartels, Technology and Product Manager at GCIC here, with two great entrepreneurs working within the field. I have Kwabena Asan-Mens, founder of MFED Foods, MFED Farms, and Clara Pinkrasam, founder of Clatura. They'll tell us about their companies shortly. But let's start with Joel. So, Joel, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ben.
Talk to me about GCIC. Who are you? What do you do? What's up with you guys?
Thank you, and I'd like to say good morning to your cherished listeners. So, the Ghana Climate Innovation Center, which is GCIC, is a center under Ashesi University, which aims to contribute to a climate resilient economy. And how do we do that? We do that by supporting entrepreneurs, climate responsive entrepreneurs, and also contributing to the policy space with respect to the climate related issues in Ghana.
And you do that by identifying companies or entrepreneurs who have, so is it like people who are already businesses or people who have business ideas? How do people get to be part of what you do at the center?
Yeah, so we go for people who are already businesses. So I'm sure along the line we'll put out how you can get into GCIC, because it's an incubation program for already existing businesses through which you get a number of support services.
So how many cohorts have you done so far? How long has the center been in operation?
Yeah, so we've been existing since 2016.
Wow.
And we have an open call for our 11th cohort.
11th cohort? Yeah. And what sectors are these cohorts in? What kind of things do they do?
Yeah, so we have 5 main key thematic areas, which through research and learnings, we've realized that are relevant to promoting this climate resilient economy. So they include the domestic waste management, water purification, renewable energy, but particularly solar. And then we also have energy efficiency, and then climate smart agriculture.
Amazing. And these people, when they come, what do they go through in the incubation? What happens there?
Yeah, so we have a number of support services we give to them. So first is the entrepreneurship training. So entrepreneurship training is split into 2 areas, which is the in-person master classes and then the Coursera learning, which is hosted by the popular learning platform Coursera. Right. So aside that, we also give technical support through technology and product development. We also give some business coaching, which we term portfolio management. We also give some market access and growth, which is mainly getting the businesses up to speed with what is happening in their spaces, so that it's not like they are working in a silo. But aside that, we don't only just talk and leave them. We also offer them some level of financing in the form of grants, which they can put into different things in their businesses to ensure their upskill as businesses and to also ensure some level of continued growth.
So let's talk to Kwabena and Clara. Welcome to the show, guys. So Kwabena, you are from the MFed Farms. Tell me more about your company and what you do.
Thank you very much, and good morning to your cherished listeners. MFed Farms, we are a labor service organization that provides farm management services to smallholder cocoa farmers who are old, sick, absentee, and widow farmers. So we sign contract with them, then we take over the management activities of their farm to improve yield, to provide a sustainable income for them.
Wow.
Aside that, we collect the agro-industrial waste in the locality. That's the cocoa husks, empty palm bunches, and the pottery dropping. Then we use it to produce organic compost to fertilize the farms that we are managing and sell some to other smallholder farmers in the community.
And where are you based?
In Asinfosu.
How long have you been in this business?
Since 2012.
So how did you hear about GCIC and what have they done for you?
Yeah, actually, I heard about JCRC in 2013. So I was in the 2013, 2023 cohort. That is cohort.
2013, and that's meals time, Tom.
That is cohort 8.
Yeah.
Yes, but before then, I was facing some challenges in my compost production, with a specific example, low decomposition, and also I was using diesel-powered engine in shredding the materials that I was using. So when I heard about JCRC, they assisted me with some grant, and also I think the grant is the official part of it, but when you look at the development that I went through, I've been through a number of incubation, but with JCRC, I had opportunity to attend with one of my lieutenants, Mohammed Edu, who assisted me well. So we all went through these master classes, the Coursera courses, and we had a portfolio manager who also assisted us in most of the documentaries that MFed needs to do it well to be attractive to investors and other organizations. Yes.
Clara, let's talk to you. Clara, so you are the founder of Clatural. Yes, Tell me about that. What do you guys do?
Thank you, and good morning to all your listeners.
Okay.
Clatural is a sustainable fashion brand.
Okay.
And the emphasis here is on sustainability. So what we do is, the fashion industry is the second largest pollution causer on the planet Earth. And anytime an outfit is made, an average of 15% of the initial fabric goes to waste.
All right.
In Clatural, we have developed a very innovative technique where we have reduced a global 15% of textile waste in production of a garment to literally zero. So we produce 0.2% of waste. That is just one angle of our sustainability. The second angle is we have people who collect textile waste from local designers, sell it to us, and we infuse that in our production.
Okay.
And every month we use close to 1.5 tons of textile waste to make our uniquely, distinctively timeless pieces of wearable art pieces.
So you are reducing waste by using textile waste. When you say textile waste, you need to explain this. Is it like when they are cutting the textile in the main shop, or like at the factory, and there's some of the parts that don't get used? Is that what you mean?
Absolutely. So there are different angles of textile waste. We call those ones cut-off pieces.
Cut-off pieces.
Exactly. Those are the ones that we use.
Okay.
The other people who would go for the second-hand clothing and all of that. But because we are a premium brand, people wouldn't want to use clothes that have been used done by other people. So our emphasis is because we are on the high end. Yes, we tend to use rather the cut-off pieces from these.
Because when you use the word waste, it sounds very broad, so you need to be very clear. So it is the cut-off pieces that you use so that we don't sort of waste what we produce. And how long have you been doing this?
Since 2017.
I see. Why did you enter this business? Are you a fashion designer yourself?
Well, my background is I'm a pharmacist and IT consultant with several years of experience with the UNDP and the World Bank.
Is it?
I'm oriented towards the support for women. At a point in time, I realized that my support for women have been always people who are already empowered, educated women, and all of that. I felt the need to go down the ladder to support marginalized women. And I knew what I could turn around in terms of fabric or leather to make, unique wearable pieces of art. So I went into fashion. And then when I learned more, realized that it's the second largest pollution causer. That was killing to think
Okay. How did you get to GCIC? How have they helped your your product or your brand?
A friend recommended GCIC to me, and it's been amazing. I mean, going to GCIC is almost like having a mini MBA and having your whole, establishment turn around in the right direction.
Wonderful. So let's come back to Joel. You have a series of television documentaries that's about to air. Tell me about that. When will they start airing? What's the next documentary?
Yes, so the documentaries basically speak to the work of GCIC, how GCIC is empowering these businesses, and generally the impact of these businesses on the communities as well. Because GCIC is also focused, aimed at having the businesses also impact their community. So one of the things we do when you come to GCIC is to assess both your impact on the environment and also your society. So we do an environmental impact assessment and a social screening to make sure that whatever you are doing has a positive impact. If it has a negative impact, we also find a way to correct it. So these documentaries are also to promote climate responsive entrepreneurship, to show people what is possible, what people are doing, and how GCIC can also support them with the help of our donors. So we are currently funded by the Global Affairs Canada. We initially started the project with the World Bank, and we've also run a project with GIZ, which is the German Development Corporation as well.
So how confident are you that even if the program ends, we have generated a large pool of climate sensitive entrepreneurs who will continue with this mandate, whether it's within whatever field they are in?
Yeah, so I mean, with the kind of experience you have at GCIC, so GCIC is not just like any incubator where come take money, do whatever you want. It's an experience. So we value all the things we give to the entrepreneurs, including the money. It's not just about the money. So what we've curated in terms of master classes, we even call a mini MBA. And over the years, we've been able to incubate 196 businesses.
Wow.
Who have been able to create over 30,000 jobs.
Wow.
Yes, and also reduced CO2 emissions by about 3 million metric tons. So the impact is there to be seen, and over time we also follow up on our businesses, and we have a lot of standout businesses who are doing amazing out there.
How can somebody listening be part of this? How do they apply? How do they get to benefit from what you teach?
Right, so like I earlier said, we currently have a window open for our 11th cohort, which you can apply now. You can go to our social media handles on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at GCIC, Ghana Climate Innovation Center, or you go to our website at ghanacic.ashesi.edu.gh. But I just want to also speak to some of the things we look out for in the businesses we incubate. So first off, you need to be a legally registered entity in Ghana who has been operational for not less than 3 years, and you should have at least 3 employees, meaning yourself, the business owner, and 2 other employees. And also we have some revenue expectations, which we've currently capped at 500,000 cedis per annum, annual revenue. So that's looking around 40k monthly revenue. And also we also look out for innovation, and also you have to fall under our 5 thematic areas. But nonetheless, we also have a 5th area which we call the greening umbrella, where businesses who are not necessarily under any of our thematic areas fall, but we see a potential to migrate them to a more sustainable way of operation to also have that significant impact in their business. So such businesses are also welcome to apply.
So is it online? Is there a phone number to call? How do people get in touch?
So once you go to our socials, once you go to our website,
you'll get information.
Yes, all the information you need.
Clara, let's talk about how people can find you and what service you can offer. So if somebody's interested in Collateral, where should they go?
Collateral on all the social media handles, Instagram, Facebook.
And it's spelled?
At Collateral, spelled CLATURAL. All
right.
Our telephone number is 0244 230 531.
Wonderful. Joel, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah,
forgive me.
Yeah, so you can go to MFED website and you can get that on Facebook and YouTube too.
I see.
You can get in touch
it's
with us.
MFED, E-M-F-E-D.
Yes.
Wonderful. So you heard me speaking there to Joel Asante Bartels, who's the Technology and Product Manager at GCIC, Kwabena Asan Mens, founder of M Foods, and Clara Pinkrasam, founder of Clutchural. They are two of the many great businesses that have been incubated at the Ghana Climate Innovation Center. And watch out for the TV show. When does it start? Is it next month?
Let me just open it.
Yeah, so in the next few weeks, I'm sure you can watch the stories of not just MFED or Clutchural, but other stories.
It's this month.
On Channel 1 television and TV3. When is this?
So Channel 1 will be airing 23rd, 24th at 10 p.m. on TV3. 23rd, 24th, and 25th of April at 6:40 p.m. and on Joy News on 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th, all at 6:55 p.m.
Thank you very much. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Burna Boy, Trevor Noah, Black Coffee, Chimamanda the writer, Febe Mugugu the fashion designer, and many more young African icons didn't get where they are by following mainstream paths. They did things differently. Say yes to doing things differently. Say yes to the creative person within you, the maker, innovator, entrepreneur. Chart a new path, learn new skills, globally recognized by the American Welding Society and Pearson's BTech. So whether in Ghana or abroad, you will shine. Say yes to DTI, a learning experience that is next level. Go to dtiafrica.com or call 054-169-3534.
Kids, no running. They grow up so fast.
Come here, guys. Who wants to watch their favorite show on GoTV?
Your family's favorite moments are made better with GoTV's shows. We've got loads of local, international, and kids channels, and all the football you need from the comfort of your home.
You can also watch your favorite shows wherever you are with GoTV Stream. Stick with GoTV and let's go together. GoTV. Love it.
Mom, please can I have some milk in my Milo?
Have you tasted it?
No, but I didn't see you add milk.
Hey, taste it before you ask me any questions.
Hey, milk na chumu say.
This is Milo all in one. Milo Pampa, cocoa, malt, milk and show, everything is inside.
Milo All-in-One already comes with more milk. Just mix with water and taste the nourishing goodness of quality cocoa, malt, and more milk all in one sachet. Milo, the energy to go further.
This advert is FDA approved.
Dear home, no interest for 2 years. Are you ready to step into your dream home? With Lakeside Estate's exclusive offer, you can own your own home in just 2 years with no interest payment. This offers you affordable payments, flexible home purchase plan, quality homes, and lifestyle change. Choose from a variety of beautiful homes in any of Lakeside Hills clusters. Your future awaits you. Imagine living in a home you love with the freedom to invest in your dreams without the burden of interest. As your CIMG Real Estate Company of the Year for the 4th time, we offer you hassle-free home acquisition. Call us today on 020-477-5043 or 020-477-5042. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Call us now to learn more and schedule a tour for our available homes. T&C supplied. Make your dream a reality. Lakeside Estate. Quality homes for all.
Hey,
So what goes into building quality structures? I mean, literally, what goes into it? Wujaf, you don't want to be sitting here somewhere worrying whether or not you did a really good job. It's a very simple equation. If there's no diamond cement in the mix, massa, forget it. Don't start cry. Menye, diamond cement has been providing builders, block makers, and construction companies that peace of mind for years. Diamond cement is 42.5 R grade cement. Unbeatable quality made right here in Ghana. And because we have your pocket in mind, we provide 32.5 R grade so that everybody getting on. No long talk, Jack. If there's no diamond cement in the mix, don't start. Locate Diamond Cement Ghana Limited nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrade, and Buipe, or call 0244-313-368 or 0540-111-978 or 0202-021-175. Diamond Cement, still as hard as a diamond.
Ready to advance your career? IS Evolutions Consult offers world-class training. Join our Certified Information Systems Auditor training in Accra from 28th April to 2nd May. In Dubai, elevate your skills with exclusive training, Managing Fraud in a Digitalized World from 9th to 13th June. Fraud and Forensic Auditing, 23rd to 27th June. Advanced Analytics with Arbitus, 7th to 11th July. Value for Money Audit, 18th to 22nd August. Call us on 02-4768-1899 or send us an email at info@isevolutionsconsult.com. IS Evolutions Consult, your partner for success.
Join the conversation on the City Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag CityCBS.
This is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Heart of the cloud, the airwaves shine bright. City FM, you're the beacon of light, guiding the people through day and through night. With integrity, your message takes flight. Oh, let's raise our voices, let the truth be told. City FM, a story of courage and bold. Samuel and Bernard, you lead us so proud. With the strength of the people, let's shout it out loud. Through the airwaves, you carry our dreams, bringing us knowledge more than it seems. With every
All right, so it's 9:49. Let me take you quickly to Tamale, where Health Minister Kobna Mintakando was captured in a tense exchange with officials of Tamale Teaching Hospital during a surprise visit on Tuesday. The confrontation followed the death of a patient at the facility's accident and emergency ward, accompanied by Tamale North MP Alasan Suhini. The minister questioned staff over the incident. In a viral video, the minister criticized officials' conduct and raised concerns about patient care and communication. Here's an excerpt of the interaction.
Call was made. The 4 vents were in use, so there was no extra vents anywhere to put the patient on. So that was the issue that kind of caused the delay. But all the resuscitation was done here. We called the ICU and they said they didn't have any vent available for the intubation. And at that point, there's really little that you'll be able to do without the intubation. So the patient was being bagged here until the patient could.
So when the patient got here, how many minutes did they get to assess the patient?
Oh, within 10 minutes. Because usually when you score red, you are immediately brought to the red zone. There is no situation where you have to delay. You are pushed straight to red. So as soon as you are tried red, you are brought in there.
And then, when did you communicate with the ICU when they told you they didn't have any vents available?
No, I think immediately we identified that the patient needed to have been intubated. The ICU call was made.
And they said they didn't have any.
Yes, so there were no available beds.
So if somebody tells you that at the time they got to know that there was a patient like that, there was an available mobile vent, how will you take it as a man in charge here?
I mean, if there was an available mobile vent anytime, we would have used it. We see patients here all the time.
There's a bit of conflict between what you are telling us now and what they are also saying. And so it is either an issue of lack of proper communication or there's a problem somewhere. Either it is an issue of proper communication or negligence or somebody's lying.
I mean, it's a straightforward case. Patient came, assessed, needed to be intubated. There is no vent at the emergency as we speak. There's no functional vent. So the next step is ICU. The call was made to the ICU.
And they said there was no...
They said there was no space. That was the communication we got.
They heard what Dr. Yakubu was saying. So we have a mobile vent there. And then they spoke to the ICU. The time that they came down to assess and then planned to bring the mobile vents down, that was the time that the patient arrested. So he probably had a stroke in the same
But so from this, I do not want to go first. No, go ahead.
I didn't get the impression that office now created with this narration up there.
No, that's fine.
Why I made
Let's leave it there.
I made the point that it may be negligence because clearly
That's fine.
If there was a mobile vent there, the ICU.
If the communication was done at the right time and there was available mobile vent, let's leave it at that. So let's leave it at that.
How often do you get similar cases?
Occasionally that's happening. Yes, occasionally that's happening. I think the way forward is for us to have the vents available at the emergency. And then this wouldn't have even happened because we could have intubated the patient without
So I said that what I'm going to say, I said it when I went up there at the ICU. You know, how you handle patients, even if the unfortunate happens, it gives them some kind of comfort. Okay, if the patient is brought, and you are looking for a certain quickly, and you've not gotten it. And then...
Not to come in, but you see, if that communication wasn't done, whoever is making a case out of it wouldn't have even known. Because we make it a point, before we intubate the patient, the family must be informed that this is the next step that is needed. So there's no way somebody would have said that appropriate counseling wasn't done. Then how did we arrive at that point and we called the ICU? So that communication has been done. I don't know what is making the issue blow out of proportion, but there's no circumstances under which a patient will come, need intubation. Intubation, you need consent before you intubate. So there's no way we wouldn't have communicated with the patient relative. That was done. And we try as much as possible to discuss the prognosis of patients with patient relatives the moment they come, especially for the red zone, which we all know is high dependency. But I think the solution to this is simple. If there were available ventilators here, then we would have intubated the patients, and then this issue wouldn't have even sprung up. That's what I think. Because we have the capacity to have intubated the patient.
Yeah, we all know the ideal situation, and we all know what must be done to solve the problem. But that doesn't mean that until we have the ideal situation, we should not be able to manage the situation. You understand? So that is why you are here. We don't have it here, but we have it at the ICU. The fact that we don't have it here doesn't mean that if there's an issue, your defense is that because we don't have it here, until we have it here.
No,
I mean, nobody.
It's not a defense.
So don't put up that posture.
No, it's not a defense.
Please.
I'm also trying.
Don't put up that posture.
Yes.
Don't put up that posture. I'm telling you something that you are insisting and resisting. Huh? Please.
If we have to resolve the problem, we have to be honest.
I'm saying that I've told you.
Because I also stated that. Stop.
Imagine a common person, how you treat the person. You should let him know. Even crown and minister, can you imagine what you do with a common person?
I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to be a common
person. You do worse things here. It means that you do worse things here.
And even with your superiors, look at how you are arguing.
There's a problem. There's a problem here.
So if a commoner comes here, can you imagine what
How can somebody talk to this man here? How will he be able to communicate?
How will he deal with it?
There's a problem.
So sorry about the way the sound went through, but basically the Minister for Health, Kwabena Mintakando, was interacting with the CEO of the Tamale Teaching Hospital, and that degenerated at the end into some sort of argument. Less than 24 hours later, the CEO was sacked. Now, Fred, I don't know if you've been following this. So is it that there had been issues already?
That's not the CEO.
So this
that's a doctor.
A doctor on duty.
Yes,
so it wasn't the CEO.
So
Okay.
was he the one who was fired?
No, the CEO was fired. So what was the complaint? That a patient had died the day before.
Yes.
And people were angry.
Yes.
And the health minister had gone there with the MP to see for themselves what was going on.
What exactly took place.
And the answers they got, they were not satisfied with.
Yes.
Which led to the president sacking the CEO.
We are not sure whether that was the reason.
We're not sure if
the
they are
sack.
related, but they happened in close
proximity to each other.
Exactly.
So because it is reasonable for everybody to believe that after the altercation, the president decided to sack or the president was advised to sack.
Well, so who did the president sack?
The CEO
of the hospital.
You see, Bernard,
who bears ultimate responsibility for the hospital?
Of course, I mean the president has the power to appoint and disappoint.
Yeah.
Right? But as I always say,
yeah,
due process. When I say people get angry and say all kinds of, but you see, we cannot just have the honorable minister is a very good friend of mine. I respect, I hold him in high regard.
Yes.
If you go to a space and as a minister you don't find what you wanted to see according to the standards, the respectful thing to do, in my view, go back, order an investigation, right? Why did we have A, B, C, D? Why did we not have A, B, C, D? What are the, or what quality of services are emanating from that hospital? We didn't see that. There was some confrontation because somebody didn't like how someone was asking a question or how somebody was responding in front of the cameras. Then what we hear is the next thing.
But don't forget that there have been complaints. Even we have reports from the Tamale Hospital about a lot of
Bernard,
issues. So the hospital has had a myriad of reports about poor management. Like it's been a long history.
I am currently, I am taking steps to acquire a certain professional license. I'm required to go through some medical tests, right, to be able to determine whether I am properly constituted to get that license, right? I went to a hospital in Accra, a public hospital.
It just messed you up.
Very, very, like, things that you expect will be available. It is not the fault of the people there.
Are you sure?
It may well be.
Sometimes
the things are not working.
Sometimes
right?
you have to pay to even.
I was sitting there, Bernard. I was sitting there. The light was going on, off, on, like that. Clink on, clink on, clink on. Machines get destroyed as a result. Of course, there are times that perhaps their own conduct will contribute to that. But it is not everything that we heap on the people there. There's also government's lack of conduct and proper conduct. Releases are sometimes not made. In some cases, national health insurance allocation. The hospitals work, they beg for the money doesn't come.
Okay.
In those situations, it will be required. I mean, the proper thing to do is to
set up a proper inquiry.
And when you determine that, Dr. A or CEO B acted improperly, then you apply the necessary sanctions. But recently it was in the Ashanti region.
No, the president has the power to fire.
And saw somebody doing fire service. You are not a fire service. I don't know the processes involved. I mean, I'm saying this with all the respect I can command. What I'm saying is that it will be useful that we act properly, not just on the go.
I hear you.
I just want to say that I think the minister was out of line. I think because we know the health challenges in our hospitals, and we heard the guy saying that there was not this specific equipment. How many of our hospitals even have this equipment in the first place? So are you going to go to every hospital where someone has died because this equipment is not there and blast the doctors for that? I think we have to be honest with ourselves. I think we have to be honest with ourselves about the infrastructure. But it's like Sky says, two sides of this coin, because some of them don't care. That one there's a fact. But I think if you put everything in place and you see that they are failing, then we can have a proper discussion. But when you don't give them the right facilities.
Now, if you are looking for an easy way to manage your business finances, Build Financial Technologies is the trusted platform for businesses across Africa. effortlessly handling invoicing, payments, and payroll with secure advanced encryption. Save time, reduce cost, and enjoy live support for local integration. Go to www.built.africa or download our app or call 0308 0400 07. Built, do more with less stress. And DVLA is rolling out its national community outreach program on the theme Educating for a Safer Tomorrow. A major step in bringing DVLA services even closer to you through express mobile services. From lorry stations to corporate offices, religious organizations to community hubs, if you call, we'll come to you. Any interested group can reach out and DVLA will be there to serve. Official launch is tomorrow, Thursday, April 27, Neoplan Station, Accra, 10 a.m. Call 054-939-9981 for more information. Time for City News at 10. Ejubi Afia Kintin here with the news. Good morning.
Good morning. Hello and welcome to City News at 10.